game against Atlanta, but they've been run on lately.
Yeah, last week was just a complete floor game for Rico Dowdle. Still managed 15 fantasy points. It was finally a game as a starter for him where he didn't score 30 DraftKings points. But again, the workload was still there. 78% of snaps, 78% of carries, a 12% target share, and 82% of backfield expected fantasy points. That's a fantastic workload. And, at 6,800, he's obviously underpriced relative to the 21.4 expected fantasy points per game and 28.9 DraftKings fantasy points per game that he's averaged in his 4 games as a bell cow rusher. And, this Atlanta defense has been pretty solid all year, but they've been pretty solid against the pass. They've actually been quite weak against opposing running backs, especially in the second half of the season. Atlanta ranks as the league's second softest schedule adjusted matchup for opposing running backs since week 6. I do think there's some systemic risk with Dowdle that Carolina just ends up not playing well at all offensively because, again, Bryce Young has struggled a ton. They are 3.5-point underdogs here. So, playing into the spread, playing into Bryce Young, there is some risk with Dowdle, but the floor is just fantastic given his workload. And when you compare the workload to the price, I mean, he's one of the best running back plays on the slate.
Jake Tribby on the line with us here from fantasypoints.com, breaking down week 11 DFS action and some pickage here on the X machine at Jake Tribby. And I got to tell you, there have been moments during this season, maybe a day or two, where I've literally forgotten that Nico Collins existed. And that's not great, but not all his fault. Maybe this week with Davis Mills in, some people might be a little concerned about the backup quarterback, but I would argue that, is there really a drop-off from C.J. Stroud to Davis Mills? What do you see here with Nico up against Tennessee?
Yeah, at least when it comes to Nico Collins' fantasy production, I would argue Davis Mills might be potentially better for Nico Collins. He's seen double-digit targets in 3 straight games. He had 15 targets last week, good for 25 expected fantasy points. That was the third most by any wide receiver in any game this season. And Collins was productive on that good volume. He had 136 receiving yards. Like I mentioned, maybe Davis Mills is sort of the cure to what has been ailing Nico Collins. At the very least, Mills understands that he needs to pepper his best wide receiver with targets. He's targeted Collins on 33% of his throws. That's higher than C.J. Stroud this season. I do understand being concerned about Tennessee's ability to push the Texans here. I mean, the total here is very low, 37.5 last I checked. And, obviously that would impact Nico Collins' production. But each of these offenses rank among the top 10 fastest by seconds per play. And the Titans are allowing the 6th most receiving yards per game on deep throws, which is obviously Collins' game. So I do think there's a bit more upside with Nico Collins, especially at a price tag of $6,700 than the total and, of course, his price would imply.
You've got Georgie Kittle on your list here. Finally had a nice game there with Mac Jones, but that might be a moot point here. I don't know if it's official, but I do believe we're trending toward Brock Purdy. We're also trending toward Ricky Pearsall, yet you still do like George Kittle up against Arizona for 5,000. Jacoby Brissett playing well, but no Marvin Harrison. Probably hurts a little bit of the shootout potential here, but what do you see with George?
Yeah, I think overall this is a fantastic slate for higher price tight ends, guys like Trey McBride, Oronde Gadsden, George Kittle, especially when you compare them to their wide receiver counterparts. These guys are all like way more productive than their price tag would imply. And last week, Kittle turned 9 targets into 84 yards, 23 fantasy points. He actually posted a positive average separation score for the first time since week 1, which suggests he's getting much healthier. So maybe he's finally back here, and Brock Purdy's back this week too, which should be good news for Kittle. Kittle averages 18.1 DraftKings fantasy points per game over his last 13 full games with Brock Purdy. And keep in mind that 18.1 fantasy points per game would rank 6th among all slate eligible wide receivers. But, Kittle's at a price tag $700 lower than DK Metcalf, $500 lower than Wan'Dale Robinson. So like I mentioned with these high-priced tight ends this week, when you compare them to wide receivers, they start looking like excellent values.
Jake Tribby on the X machine at Jake Tribby. Make sure you give him a follow over at fantasypoints.com, doing the great work on all things, football, UFL especially. And Jake, great stuff. Good luck with all the recos, and we'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate it, John. Thank you.
We have propage. There he goes. We have propage that we're going to pop out on the other side, but we do have just a couple of minutes here. So I don't have to rush through it like I believe last week. Let's pop up I got only 3 touchdown props that I'm in on here. I'm going to be popping out my 10 regular props, but first one is Jalen Naylor, who is bowling with J.J. McCarthy. That is why Jalen Naylor's getting targets. Jalen Naylor's making great plays for J.J. McCarthy. Meanwhile, Justin Jefferson, he's dropping touchdowns, and he's falling on downfield throws like last week. So I like this. The Bears are, first of all, they're a deep funnel, and Naylor is just as dangerous of a deep threat in this offense right now as Justin Jefferson. They're also a slot funnel, and that is where Naylor lines up 59% of the time. Christian Watson, it didn't happen last week, but I do believe we have an excellent chance this week up against the Giants. He'll see a lot of Deonte Banks on the outside. He's beatable. They play a lot of man, as we mentioned last week, and it worked out with Watson at least going over his yardage prop. So downfield threat between the likelihood of him making a big play downfield and just simply getting a red zone target. I mean, the dude is 6'5". He's massive. So I like this at plus 255. And then last but not least, the old veteran Zachary Ertz up against Miami. Bad vibes with Debo, but Ertz is Mr. Reliable. The Dolphins run cover 2, cover 3 at a 55% clip, and he averages a pretty solid 1.88 yards per route run. Miami also gives up the 5th most receiving yards and the 6th most receptions per game to tight ends. So Zach Ertz, yet again, crossing the stripe for a touchdown. On the other side, we'll pop out my official picks for Week 11. But first, VSiN Pro subscribers now have exclusive access to our new AI player prop projections powered by Opta AI, the trusted source behind elite soccer analytics in the UK. You'll get data-driven projections for quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs, plus exclusive NBA player prop projections, all compared directly to DraftKings lines to help you find value. Access it all with a VSiN Pro subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. 10 more props coming at you on the other side, including 3 unders here as we enjoy and we continue to enjoy November. Coming at you next here with the picks. Next on Prop Points on VSiN.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable, same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-637-9116. That's 1-800-637-9116. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-637-9116. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Download the VSiN Watch app to stay plugged into the latest sports betting insights with VSiN's expert analysis. Streaming live.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Meet Josh.
Hi, everybody.
Josh is a high school basketball player, solid shooter, great teammate.
Hey, don't forget my tenacious D.
And he's my son.
Oh.
So, what does Josh do to be the best basketball player he can be?
I play tennis.
Studies show that student athletes here in Ohio who play more than one high school sport are more likely to excel. Tennis does more than improve Josh's conditioning. It gives him a fresh competitive outlet, reduces the risk of injury by cross-training, and introduces him to different coaching techniques and new friends.
Don't get me wrong, hoops are my first love. Tennis just gives me a little break.
So when the new season begins, Josh isn't burned out on basketball. He's eager to play. And you can see the difference in his game.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
You're listening to Western Reserve Radio at westernreserveradio.com on the Live 365 network and the Live 365 app.
Final segment on a Friday edition of Prop Points here on VSiN, a.k.a. Money Time. So hopefully we can stay hot. I'm not going to get arrogant, but we've been doing pretty well. I feel pretty good about these selections. Could we get pinched by the National Fake You Out League? Of course. But I do really like these picks here, and I've got a pretty unusual, maybe surprising best bet, but I'm feeling it. I am absolutely feeling it, and it is literally my favorite play on the board. So stay tuned for that. We're 8-2 on best bets on the season. But we'll start off with a guy we took as under last week, Bijan Robinson, and this is a really good line, by the way, on Fanatics. You know, maybe not the greatest odds at minus 120, but Bijan over 70.5. You know, the Falcons have been a little pass heavy lately, right? How's it going? Not well. They're 0-4 in their last 4. And well, actually, they're 1-3 in their last 4. So they've lost 3 in a row being pass happy. So I think it's time to get back to basics and back to Bijan, who looked a lot better last week. 17 carries for 84 yards. Carolina gives up the 10th most adjusted yards before contact, the 13th most rushing yards per game at 98. A previously deceased Alvin Kamara, of all people, got them for 83 yards last week on 23 carries. They're giving up the 8th highest explosive run rate, and most importantly, they're 4.77 yards per carry given up on zone concept runs, 7th worst in the NFL. They have given up the 8th most rushing yards on those runs, and that's Bijan's jam. That's his deal, those zone concept runs. They're 3.5 home favorites, and Bryce Young's awful. So I think we're looking good with volume for Bijan Robinson. Next up, Jalen Waddle, the game across the pond. I searched everything, and the catch yardage total is pretty high. I think we're a lot safer going with the over 5.5 receptions. The odds are pretty good here, minus 118. He's got 5+ grabs and 82+ yards in 5 of 6 games without Tyreek Hill. The only time he didn't do it was in that horrible game in rain and wind in Cleveland. They do the DC Commanders cover 3 and cover 1 53% of the time, and Waddle crushes it, 3.25 yards per route run. Jamison Williams, I did like the Lions to torch DC last week. They did. J-Mo got him for 6 grabs for $119 receiving. He was Jalen Waddle, set to see a lot of Marshawn Lattimore, but he's on IR. So now we have the formerly benched cornerback Jonathan Jones, who gives up a generous 0.36 fantasy points per route run. Next up, we're in November, and I'm doing it. Under 7.5 receptions for Puka Nacua, who has now failed to top a 62% route share in 3 straight games. Part of it is minor injuries. Part of it is he's losing routes to Devontae Adams when they go in 13 personnel with 3 tight ends on the field. Seattle, by the way, they play the same way. So they're very well equipped to slow these guys down a little bit, at least not. They won't go off the Rams, I don't think. The Seattle Seahawks are giving up the 6th fewest schedule-adjusted fantasy points per game to wide receivers lined up on the right, which is Puka Nacua's spot. That's mostly Reek Woolen, who that was part of my analysis last week when I took the under on Marvin Harrison catches, which hit even though he got 12 targets. A lot of that was Reek Woolen, who was giving up a stingy 0.14 fantasy points per route run. Seattle also gives up the 3rd fewest receiving yards and the fewest yards per route run to receivers out wide. We also show it overall as a negative schematic matchup for Puka, representing a 12% drop to his expected fantasy points. So, I mean, it might be a game where he only catches like 6 balls for 82. So the greedy Puka people, you're going to be a little disappointed this week because the role is being, reduced just a little. Next, this guy is on the injury report. His coach addressed it today. Ankle has been limited all week. Probably good to go. Khalil Shakir, maybe not good to go, but he's a tough dude. Available, durable, no Dalton Kincaid. That's big. So let's go over 45.5. Tampa gives up. They're kind of middling. They give up the 11th fewest receiving yards to slot receivers. But Steph Diggs got him for 5 for 46 last week. The Bucs blitz, because that's Todd Bowles' top 5 rate. Shakir gets a 42% boost to his yards per route run and a 41% boost to his fantasy points per route run against the blitz. The Bucs also allow the 2nd most receiving yards on shallow throws traveling 10 yards or fewer near the line of scrimmage. That's where Shakir gets 80% of his targets. Again, no Dalton Kincaid. And finally, good schematic matchup. They run cover 3, cover 4, 52% of the time. And Shakir averages a stellar 2.72 yards per route run on 110 routes against those coverages. Next up, Ladd McConkey. Love Ladd. We won a prop on him a couple of weeks ago on Thursday Night Football, but I'm going to go under 5.5 receptions. The Jags are a perimeter funnel, allowing the 2nd most schedule-adjusted fantasy points per game to outside wide receivers, but the fewest to the slot. Lads run 68% of his routes from the aforementioned slot. We like Quentin Johnston in this game, by the way. Jacksonville, again, outside funnel. They run cover 3 and cover 6 at a 53% clip. He's only at 1.47 yards per route run. That's not great. Jags allowing the 2nd most schedule-adjusted fantasy points per game to opposing tight ends, and Oronde Gadsden removed from the injury report. So between Gadsden, Quentin Johnston, of course, Keenan Allen, Kamani Vidal in the running game. Oh, and the fact that the Jags stink. I don't think they're going to have to throw it a lot. So I think it's only like a 3, 4, or 5 catch game for McConkey as long as he doesn't get to 6. Next up, James Cook. Look, it's all about James Cook. They're 5.5 home favorites. I think the Bucs are in trouble against a tough and stingy pass defense. And the Bills go as James Cook goes. He didn't go well last week. They lost. He averages 21.9 fantasy points per game in Bills wins. Tampa gives up the 5th most adjusted yards before contact. Trevion Henderson got him last week, good, for 147/2. Decent schematic matchup. I think they're going to feed James Cook. Next up, Christian Watson. We talked about the schematics earlier. The Giants have allowed the 6th most receiving yards to opposing outside wide receivers, the 5th most on deep throws, traveling 20 yards down the field, the NFL's 6th highest pass rate over expectation, meaning teams like the Packers, their opposing team, generally choose to throw against them. He ran around on a season high 81% of the Packers dropbacks last week. He's got over 100 air yards in each of the last 2 games. Giants run man coverage at the NFL's highest rate, and Watson crushes that with 3.3 yards per route run. So love that. Also, I'm going in on A.J. Brown. Remember him? Over 4.5 receptions. I believe we took the under on Friday, but he's a man beater. And the Lions run the second highest rate of man. A.J. Brown averages a stellar 4.0 yards per route run against man. Detroit, I think if you're Philly and you don't throw to A.J. Brown, then you should cut him, because this is a big game. In Philly, you want to knock off Detroit, get that advantage. So I think they're going to throw to A.J. Brown in this game. Next up, Chase Brown, under 78.5 rushing receiving yards. The Steelers have been a pass funnel. Their defense is all of a sudden, now they're good again. I don't trust that he'll get what he got last time out a couple of weeks ago. That was 11 for 108. He only got 2 catches for -8, by the way, in the game. So that's it. We're all caught up. All we have left is the best bet. I'm going to take a little extra time for this puppy because I wrote a short novel about it, but stay tuned to VSiN after we sign off here with Prop Points. It is, in fact, Money Moves with Jonathan Von Tobel at 2 p.m. Eastern. Mike Palm checks in from Circus Sports. Will Hill shares his sharpest sides. And Doug Vasquez and Zach Cohen break down the NFL and NBA betting opportunities heading into the weekend, followed by Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard at 4 Eastern. Then stick around. Circa Friday Football Invitational hosted by Matt Humans at 7 p.m. Eastern. Well, one pick to go. Best bet. We are 8-2 on these puppies on the season through 10 weeks. This might be a little surprising. I watched the Vikings this past week. J.J. McCarthy's not really the problem. J.J. McCarthy's getting better. J.J. McCarthy has been let down by his team, namely Justin Jefferson. So we're going over 215.5 for J.J. McCarthy. Definitely playing better. The Bears are one of the worst teams in terms of pressure. That's it. They have the second worst in terms of generating pressure. So that is going to be massive for him. Justin Jefferson's got a very good matchup. I mentioned Jalen Naylor. The Bears are a slot funnel. They are a deep funnel as well. It's even a good matchup for TJ Hawkinson. So you have JJ McCarthy back there. He might have all 5 starters back up against a poor pass rush and a very beatable secondary in a game that could be a little bit of a shootout. So I really think this is as close to a lock as it gets. Over 215.5. That is a wrap. Good luck with all the plays. We'll catch you Monday for another edition of Prop Points here on VSiN. You're welcome.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Football meets flavor with VSiN and Omaha Steaks, the official sponsor of tailgating. And right now, you can score 16 free smash burgers.
Dad,
plus
your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. You're there for them. we're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear. Because for years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Youngstown, Warren, and Salem Sports Talk is on the iMedia1 network. Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
Are you ready to join the legacy? This is your chance to become part of something special with the Youngstown Patricians. Honoring the proud football tradition of the Valley, we're on the lookout for talented post-high school athletes who want to make their mark on the field. Whether you're a seasoned high school athlete, college, or former professional player, develop your skills and become part of a team that values hard work, dedication, and community spirit. Don't wait. Begin your path to the gridiron by visiting youngstownpat.com or contacting us on Facebook at the Youngstown Patricians. Be bold, be legendary, join the Youngstown Patricians today.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
It's time to kick back and listen to the Sports Page with your host, Pat Lucia, right here on Western Reserve Radio. You can call the show at 330-707-4202 and tell everyone what's on your mind in the wonderful world of sports. Now, here's your host, Pat Lucia.
Saturday morning sports page. Pat Lucia, 330-707-4202. Getting into the review of the Poland-Girard game last night. Bob Gessler in the studio. And we'll just say that it was a lively discussion on the referees, and we'll leave it at that. Got a lot to get to in the wonderful world of sports. Obviously, big weekend for the NFL and even college. Got some great games finally on the slate, especially the NFL. The matchups are going to be really interesting. Got to get a lot what's going on, obviously, in the NFL. Some of the quarterbacks, there's talk about, Kyler Murray has played his last game with the Cardinals. Also, there's the fans down in Miami want to move on from Tua. We're going to even talk about how is that possible. Look at some of the salaries in the NFL when it comes to quarterbacks that the fans think it's time to move on to, and look at the dead cap hits that these teams would take if they want to move on from these quarterbacks. Also, get to college football. Like we said, a big slate, a big game last night between Clemson and Louisville. Clemson won 20-19. Pretty much, not that Louisville really had any chance of getting into the playoff, but they are obviously been knocked out of the playoff potential. And we'll actually look at college playoffs because we've got talk about how many teams do we think the SEC will be putting into the playoffs. According to Paul Feinbaum, it could be maybe as many as 6. And talk about what is the overall goal of the committee. Should it be to get the best teams in the playoffs, or do they want to try to spread it out so there's certain conferences that can get, represented like they did last year when they put SMU in the tournament from the ACC instead of Alabama, and ultimately SMU went up to Penn State, didn't show up. It was a really bad game. People are saying and second-guessing the committee because they probably should have put Alabama in the playoff instead of SMU, and maybe you would have had a better game between Alabama and Penn State. So I know there's always that second-guessing that we love to do that. Sports Talk Radio is probably 90% second-guessing because that's what we do. And so we'll see if how many teams that the SEC will ultimately put into the playoff. Like I said, listening to Paul Feinbaum, there could be, in his eyes, maybe 6 teams. And he's of the school that let's just put the best teams in the playoff. Almost forget about conference representation. Let's just get the best teams in the 12-team playoff and move on. If there happens to be 6 teams from the SEC that get in, great. Then there's 6 teams. If there's 7, fine. If there's 3 or 4 from the Big Ten, and only maybe 1 or none from the ACC. I know there's discussion out there that if somehow, some way, if Duke could find a way to win the ACC with 4 losses, they might win the ACC but not get into the 12-team playoff. So like I said, a lot going on. College football is now winding down toward the end of the season. The playoff picture is going to get to be a little bit clearer, and we'll get a better idea of where that's going to stand. And in the NFL, obviously, you've got the have-nots and the haves. And we'll talk about some coaching changes also going on potentially in the NFL. And maybe head coach of the Miami Dolphins, Dave Clark, will not lose his job after all this discussion. The problem you have with Miami, bottom line, is they really can't move on from Tua. I know all the fans want to.
Yeah.
There's all this discussion. They're tired of Tua. They're tired of the coach, McDaniel. They want him out. They want Tua gone. And the reality to life, and again, the contract that he signed, if they were to move on from Tua after this year, it's $137 million cap hit, almost $138 million. If they wait till next year, it's $99 million, almost $100 million, where the team would have to suck up and absorb that cap hit. Now, when we're talking about Kyler Murray from the Cardinals, I said I think he might have played his last game with the Cardinals. Seems like Cardinal fans are ready to move on from Kyler Murray. His dead cap hit at the end of this year is only $43 million. Compared to obviously Tua at $137 million. Just so if the Cleveland Brown fans are listening and they want to know, Deshaun Watson cap hit at the end of the year is $167 million. Next year, it goes down to $131 million. So Deshaun Watson will be a Cleveland Brown for this year and next year. Possibly at the end of the next year, they can get rid of him. But again, right now, they're looking at a pretty big hit. So Deshaun Watson goes nowhere. Kyler Murray has, I think, a potential of being traded and moved on because the cap hit is not as bad. $43 million cap hit. To give you an idea, the Denver Broncos got rid of Russell Wilson. They drafted Bo Nix, and they did absorb an $85 million cap hit. So it's not that it can't be done. It's just a challenge, obviously, the higher the cap hit. But when you're getting into the $100 million range, it's really going to be hard for a team to get on or move on from a quarterback, because when you take the cap hit, then it's going to restrict you from signing free agents. The dead cap money is just going to hamper the team from really doing anything. And again, that's what the Browns faced with Deshaun Watson when all the fans were screaming and yelling they wanted to get rid of Deshaun Watson. It's just that when you sign these quarterbacks to these outrageously high contracts, depending on how you structure the money, is going to dictate to a large extent whether or not you can move on from them. Now, the Cardinals, give them credit, they at least structured this contract so they could at least make it possible to move on from Kyler Murray by making the dead cap hit only $43 million. Again, I hate what was only, but in relation to the other quarterback contracts out there, that's a fairly reasonable hit that you might be able to absorb. To give you an example, like Trevor Lawrence, for the Jacksonville Jag fans out there that are kind of like wondering, gee, Trevor Lawrence is just underperforming. He doesn't really play that good. Maybe we should move on. Well, it's $133 million cap hit, dead cap money to move on from Trevor Lawrence this year, and it goes down to $116 million next year. So you're not moving on really from Trevor Lawrence for 2 years. Brock Purdy, just in case people think Mac Jones could be the answer, even though we just signed Brock Purdy to a big contract, if the 49ers wanted to move on from Brock Purdy, it would be a $100 million dead cap hit this year and a $90 million cap hit the following year. So Brock Purdy's pretty much there for 2 years. So all the when I was breaking these contracts down and looking at it last night, I know what the fans want to do, but then there's obviously the financial constraints that the contract is going to dictate a large extent of what the team can actually do. And that's kind of what you're looking at today. So bottom line, I won't be surprised if Kyler Murray gets probably traded at the end of the year. Team absorbs the cap hit, but then they're going to need a quarterback. I don't think Jacoby Brissett is the long-term quarterback. Sadly, they did not play well in Seattle. I got that game wrong. Bottom line, you got it right. I didn't have a good week. You had an okay week. If 6-8 is okay, I was 2-12. I was at the bottom of the basement.
Yeah.
I was the 1964 Giants. I believe they went 2-12, Dave Carr. My first year as a kid following football at the great age of 8 years old, 1964, I believe the Giants were 2-12. They went from the championship game, losing the championship game to the Chicago Bears in 1963. They lost 14-10. The following year, with Y.A. Tittle, people thought, oh, okay, we'll rebound. That's when age and everything caught up with the team, and they were 2-12 in 1964, and they really never did anything. The rest of the decade, they had Fran Tarkington.
Yeah.
And then they were 7-7 a couple of years, and they had 1 year they went 9-5, and then they were pretty much bouncing around in mediocre land, but they never got back to the playoffs till actually 1981 when they made a wild card, and they beat the Eagles with Ray Perkins as their coach in 19. I believe that was 81. So going back a little history for those out there that may remember, or for those that probably weren't alive back then.
Yeah, they're alive. But I remember that. Ray Perkins, they coached.
Right. Ray Perkins was the coach in 79. And they had him, and he left after the 82 strike year. He left to coach Alabama, and that's when the Giants made Bill Parcells their head coach.
Yeah.
And Parcells had a horrendous first year in 1983. And ultimately, I believe he was 3-10-1. And then ultimately, he turned the season around in 84 and got to the Super Bowl with the 86 team. So it can be done.
Yep.
Like I said, we'll look at what's going on in the NFL, some of the games, the coaching moves. Bill Belichick will not be going to the New York Giants. Not that I think he ever was going there. We'll talk about who do we think will be the Giants' new head coach. I guess I should have opened up with the fact that the Giants fired Brian Daboll after the Sunday game, the Chicago game. He was on thin ice for a lot of other reasons. Rumor was he was going to be fired after the Denver collapse. That didn't happen. Then they collapsed against Chicago Bears on Sunday, and then ultimately that led to the firing of Brian Daboll. But they are going to keep Shane, the GM, which I don't think is such a great idea, but he's going to be at least there for probably another year or two and see if he can continue to work on getting the roster back and improve that roster. I still don't think they've got glimmer of hope. The defense sometimes looked good, but then for fourth quarter, the defense fell apart. They did against Denver. They did against Chicago. I don't know if it's a situation where the offense is leaving them out too long, not getting drives, keeping the defense off the field. Offense doesn't possess the ball long enough, and ultimately putting your defense back out on the field, they wear out in the fourth quarter, as we've seen time and time again. A lot of teams do that, and then ultimately those are the teams that usually are at the bottom of the standings, and they are the ones with usually the first few picks of the draft every year. That's the way of the NFL.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing that got Daboll in trouble, Dave, is I still think what contributed to his demise was the whole concussion protocol with Jackson Dart. I think it was a bad look following him into that blue tent. Getting into a big discussion, I'll put nicely, with the medical team, trying to get Dart back in the game. And then Chicago, he did suffer another concussion, and now he's out this week. Jameis Winston will be the starting quarterback Mike Kafka is now their interim head coach as the Giants will sit there and look for, obviously, the candidates. Mike McCarthy's name is coming up. There's a few other ones, and we'll talk about those to see who would be the likely candidate. It will not be Bill Belichick, as Belichick came out and said that he is staying at North Carolina. He's committed to North Carolina, and not that he was really ever a candidate for the job, because I don't think the Giants, even though they like Belichick, and Mara has a great relationship with him, but he's 73 years old, and I just don't think they don't want to see a 73-year-old coach.
Yeah, I just don't think they want to do that. But I wasn't real shocked that Shane didn't go with them, because then it shows something that's like some of his transactions that he's made, trades, getting Brian Burns, different players and inputting them, making them a good solid piece for the defense. Some of the things he did on offense. I just think Dable is a guy that's an offensive coordinator again. And it's not that he can't coach. It ain't nothing about that. I just think his demeanor. I think, going into the blue tent, we know that was terrible. But you got to go over this whole career, start looking at things, throwing the iPad at Daniel Jones, this, that, berating some other players. That showed one on the sideline when he went nuts on Darius Slayton a couple seasons back. He didn't go far, he did go far enough for the first down. He's trying to pick up a first down, but he had to come back to the ball. But he came back with so much momentum. When he got hit, he was short. It was a fourth down play. He berated him, and it's hard to see when you got grown men at the professional ranks get just degraded like that. That doesn't go well with the man up there that's running the team. He sees that because it's just everything is magnified, and it doesn't have a good look for the team. So I think that's one of the reasons he definitely, and then the protocol thing, that just took it over the edge, and then your team falling apart in the last part. He's going to get that blame anyway. So, keeping Shane might be okay. They got to get the right coach in there, and they may be okay. And then far as the different teams that's hamstrung with the big contracts at the quarterback, if it's not a total distraction, they're just gonna hold on to him. But I mean, if it gets to a situation that's bad, shockingly, we see them just say, "Forget it. I'm absorbing this hit," and those hits are big. But that's why you look at things like Cleveland. You say no, but if things get really bad, you would think, "Hey, maybe I can go to a quarterback." But who are you going to go to when you don't even check what you got in the quarterback room? So you need to have been Dylan Gabriel should have been playing, Shador, whatever you want to do. But you got to find out if things get worse to worse. I got somebody there because they're solid on defense. You can get some other, not trades, but get guys to re-sign their contract. You might can get low-end free agents just to add in to that, because that defense is solid. And you could just add in maybe some offensive linemen and need some help there. Maybe some low-end receivers, and then through the draft. That's all you can do and try to bring yourself back. But that's one good. Watson, they want to definitely let that go. But if he comes back healthy and play half of the Watson that was before, I think you just say, hey, we're just keeping this guy all the way through and just forget it, and then we'll get rid of him if he doesn't play well enough. But Tua, I don't know. That's a hard decision because it is. That's a 130. That's a big cap. But the
137.9 dead cap.
Yeah, but he just has a thing that he is. I like Tua, but it seems like he's rubbed his teammates wrong at times a lot during the last couple of seasons, and the things he say. So you're doing that. That's not a good mix in the locker room. Anybody played any kind of sports, especially at that level, that is not good for your football team. So, those things continue. I don't know. They might try to absorb it, but yeah, I mean, who do they have as a backup now? I can't even remember who's in there that they have that they could say, hey, he's going to take over at quarterbacks. I don't know anyone. And anybody else, they're going to just be trying to get, how they regurgitate some guys and bring them in there and try to be a quarterback. And I don't think that's the idea of what Miami wants to be. So it's just an interesting thing. These guys get themselves hamstrung by these big, gigantic contracts. Just got to be more thoughtful on what they're doing and don't be desperate for anybody. I don't care how great they is. Don't be desperate because you don't want to hamstring your team moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with Miami, we'd have to go dig that one out.
Yeah, they used to have a decent backup. I think what was that Thompson, and he went to the last time I knew he was at the Steelers. I don't know where he's at now, but I mean, I don't remember them really having a backup quarterback that you can actually plug in there. You just don't have it. I mean, are you going to go and draft another quarterback? And I don't know. Will Kyler Murray be down there? That's possible because I definitely do think he's going to be gone. Brissett, didn't he sign a 2-year contract?
Here are the for the Dolphins, since we've opened up the door there. The backup is Zach Wilson, and then Quinn Ewers is the third stringer. So that's the depth chart of the Miami Dolphins. 3-7 Dolphins. It's obviously two of the starter. Zach Wilson would be the backup, and then ultimately, if worse comes to worse, that's the Zach Wilson. I had the ones with the Jets.
Yeah, and he was a guy that just was pressed into duty too early.
Yeah, they just put him they fed him to the wolves a little early, but you got to really, and then you got Quinn Ewers, who probably should have stayed at Texas for another year, or gone to sign NIL money with another team, is what rumor had it, another school, and he went to the draft and was, I believe, a 7th round pick.
Yeah,
and then ultimately, he's third stringer. See how he makes his way. Yeah, he was the 231st pick in the draft, 7th rounder. So that's the Miami Dolphin depth chart. So, i.e., reality is Tua is not going anywhere. And I guess the question comes down to, there's talk that the coach is not going anywhere because the coach designs the offense for Tua. And if you bring another coach and they don't think Tua is going to succeed or play very well with another coach's system, so they're dealing with that. So maybe he ends up, and I know a lot of the Miami fans are tired of that coach, and they want to move on from him.
And I think they will have to if they continue that same trend, regardless of, that's the guy for Tua. They need to do the homework, find out. There's coaches out there from either that coaching tree or from that working that system,
right?
To be very similar, and you might have to go and find somebody because a lot of times when the word from the coach gets stale in the locker room on the sidelines, guys tune them out and they are not playing well. Then they just don't play well. The coach just be talking just like a person up there, like the old Charlie Brown cartoon. Walk, walk. They don't hear nothing. Nope. And don't care. And when you do that, you done lost your football team. So you definitely don't want to do that. And, I mean, like I said, if they can get him back, the coach going right, and Tua to just make the right comments about his football team, because every time it was big-time mistakes, he threw guys under the bus.
Yeah.
That's not good because you're part of that team. Yeah. So if we got rolled up by somebody, then it's all of us that got rolled up. I'm not going to say, well, that guy over there, he was terrible, because your day will come too one day when you're not going to play well. You're not going to play well all the time. Things happen. So I don't know. He's going to have to watch what he says. He's going to have to hold that tongue and just don't say anything, even if he's thinking it. Because he needs his teammates. You need your guys with you. And that's what you want. When you go to battle, you want them right there beside you.
Yeah, just if you're wondering about Mike McDaniel, the Miami Dolphins, they extended his contract in 2024 through 2028. the contract is reportedly worth $3.5 million per year, which conflicting reports is claiming he's making over $18 million in the next 2 seasons, which I guess bottom line is, according to this, he makes $3.5 million a year. So that's bottom line, and they extended him through 2028. Not that ever matters because owners.
Oh, you don't care.
They don't care about that. That's peanuts.
I remember somebody not too long ago. They gave him a vote of confidence. This was a few years ago. Remember a coach? They gave him a vote of confidence and an extension, and I think in the same season they still fired him. They gave him this extra money. Get out of here. Just get out the door.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've seen that happen before.
I just couldn't remember.
That was recently, and there was one coach. I have to.
It would have to be researched, but I remember that happened.
No,
oh my God,
that's happened where they
just re-signed him. Get out of here. You're not performing.
Oh. Well, that was one coach. This is NBA, but that was Tom Thibodeau. They gave Tom Thibodeau an extension with the Knicks, and then they fired him at the end of the season. But they had just, right before the season, they extended him out like 3 or 4 years. And then they turned around and fired him right at the end of the season. He got the team to the conference finals and lost. They fired him, but they had extended him right before the start of the season. Which would have been the 2024-25 season. They gave him the extension and then fired him right at the end of at 25. And it was like, well, somebody said that, saying you just gave him a 3-year extension, and they fired him anyway.
And you know,
I mean, that's just. But there's case after case after. That's the one that I think about. I know it's NBA, but we've seen that happen across the landscape of all sports.
Yeah, it just happens. I'm thinking about Thibodeau. I was thinking he's a coach that I like him, tough, get you going, but he wears on players after a few years. They know that's his track record. I don't know if I extend him too long. Because you burn the players out in their mind so quickly. So you see guys playing a lot freer. I know it's early in the NBA season. I don't want to flip the NBA yet, but I will say you can see guys playing freer, and it's a different flow out there.
First quarter in the book, overtime today. Go to 12 o'clock. We're going to talk about the New York Jets when we come back after the performance on Thursday night. Can't they catch the ball? Saturday morning sports page. Timeout. Back after this on Western Reserve Radio.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Are you ready to hit the gridiron and make your mark? The Cleveland Cobras are recruiting players and coaches for the upcoming Premier Amateur Football League season. We're looking for passion, grit, and the relentless drive to win. Whether you're a seasoned vet or hungry rookie, your shot starts now. Join a brotherhood, build a legacy, strike with the Cobras. Follow us on Facebook at Cleveland Cobras Football, or for league information, visit TAFLfootball.com to get started today. Team, pride, Cobras.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
The game is over, but this time, instead of asking how many goals did you score or what were your stats, try asking these questions. Were you a good teammate? Were you coachable? Did you give 100%? And did you have fun? Because those are the values that school sports instill in Ohio's young people, where winning and losing are secondary to the life lessons that will stay with kids long after their playing days are over. This is the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Educate through sports.
Saturday morning sports page coming back at you. 330-707-4202. Yeah, a couple headlines. Obviously, Belichick not going to the Giants. Not that he ever was. He's staying in North Carolina, which makes sense. But I didn't think he was ever going to the New York Giants. But I know the press likes to bring up these, especially that story, Belichick to the Giants. Maybe 10 years ago, it would have been a possibility. But at the tender age of 73, Bill staying put in North Carolina. I don't think he's coaching in the NFL again.
Right.
I think his days of coaching in the NFL are in his rearview mirror.
Yeah, that could be possible.
Yeah, I think
you might as well.
Right.
You didn't get all the way to the record, right? You didn't get there.
Nope.
So, still, you had a great career. You're going to
got
be
all
at the
the
Hopper.
Super Bowls, right?
Yeah. High echelon with the guy. Come on. Don't worry about it.
Yep, don't worry about it and move on. Evidently, Dave Clark, Coach Glenn for the New York Jets, comes out and says, we are evaluating everything, including a possible quarterback change. So, I'll tell you what I wish. I think, I know I like Fields. I think he's probably going to be a career backup, but he does make plays with his legs. He did on Thursday night. If the guys catch the balls that they should have caught, that could have been a closer game. They just dropped bad pass after pass with Fields. And again, he threw the ball where it needed. He hit the guys in the hands, and their wide receiver. You got to catch those balls. I don't care. Yeah. You're getting paid. You're an NFL you're an NFL wide receiver. You drop the ball too many times, you're unemployed. You're going to be out in another career. I don't know Tyrod Taylor, if he's the quarterback, if it's going to matter. The Jets did play competitive. I give them credit for a Thursday night game. They definitely came and played. But as you said, we're talking off air that New England even looked a little sluggish. The Thursday night games have a tendency, depending on, they're the ultimate box of chocolates. You really don't know what you're getting. Mm-hmm. Some of the games are good. Some of the games you could see the players just are not in sync, and the game is kind of a choppy game. It's not
those guys don't be 100%.
No.
They done had a rough game before that. They're banged up. You don't get the regular treatment that you get for a full week. You can't.
Right. You can't.
You only get maybe a day and a half of treatment. And then you back on the field
really
talking
back
about
on contact.
Go all out. And that's just not going to happen for 4 quarters. So that's the thing. I think you could have a couple special Thursday night games, keep the sacred Thanksgiving Day Thursday night game, and that's it. Unless, like I said, if they start making the schedule for the following season, however they do it, and make sure whoever plays on the Thursday night that they're on a bye the week before. And then when they come into that game, they'll be off from 10 days or whatever. They will be ready to roll. You'll probably get some very good football games. But, they probably can't do it. Probably takes a lot of work. It's an easy thought process, but it might be a lot to that, trying to do that. So, I wouldn't know. But it's just those games sometimes. Oof.
Yeah, they could be.
Now, I wish that Fields had Tyrod Taylor's acronym far as playing the quarterback position, because that's why he's in the league. So he can always be a viable backup anywhere. And he used to run the ball a lot. He doesn't do it as much no more. But he used to be a dangerous runner, Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, now he makes sure he gets the ball down the field. He's an older guy. He done had some injuries, but he still can run.
He can.
But he's not dynamic like Fields. But Fields cannot, read defenses like Tyrod. They could if he could just have both of them combined in one guy,
you'd have a decent guy.
They have a decent quarterback. And then you got to keep your top guys got to stay healthy. You got to have a Garrett Wilson and
and then your defense, you traded away, Williams, and then you traded away
Yeah, Sauce Gardner.
Sauce Gardner. You traded away your defense, 2 of your players on defense, the run stopper and the pass defender, and they played good. I mean, actually,
they still played good.
They were very competitive. I give the Jets credit. Again, I hate to keep harping on the fact, but I'm just watching the game, and when I saw I know they're probably going to bench Justin Fields, which is fine. You could bench him. I don't think Tyrod may give you a little bit. Maybe they'll catch Tyrod's passes. I don't know.
They might.
Maybe they'll catch his passes because they weren't catching Justin Fields' passes. And I know Tyrod probably throws a different type of ball. Maybe it's more, quote, catchable. But, again, the passes that Fields threw, he dropped a couple dimes and they drop them. I mean, he had one pass. The guy ran a great route. He threw it. It was a dime. And the quarter and the wide receiver just had the ball hit his hands and it falls out. And I still see flashes of good quarterback play with Fields. It's just that the guys were dropping the balls on Thursday night. Maybe the wide receiver's timing was off, and therefore it was just turned out to be a kind of a clunky game. But again, if the wide receivers make the catches, that could have been a pretty good game. It could have been a more interesting game. I just never thought that the Patriots were ever in, risk of losing it. They seemed to be controlling the line of scrimmage in the game, the whole game they seemed to be kind of on cruise control because of the injuries or the 3 or 4 day no layoff, but the promptness of the game. And then you're just playing that Thursday night, and Rabel had them kind of ready, but you could see they weren't clicking at 100%. And obviously the Jets are the Jets. So, and the thing when I see the New York Jets, they're 2-8, they're going nowhere. They're going to finish out this season. The only question you're going to have with the New York Jets is, do they end up with the number 1 pick? Do they end up with the worst record? Because that's where we're headed here, people. Let's call it for what this is. This season is a throwaway season for the Jets. It's a throwaway season for the Browns. The Titans are done. The Raiders are done. I mean, the Raiders are not a good football team. Then the question with the Raiders are going to be, we'll get to it, do they keep Carroll? He's, again, another, I believe he and Belichick are about the same age, 73. Well, if you look up, and I did this before, I think Saban, Carroll, and Belichick are like within 10 months apart.
Well, they're close.
They're real close in age. And obviously Saban stepped away from coaching, and there was a rumor he was coming back, and that's not going to happen. People love rumors, but bottom line is the Raiders have to decide, what do they do next year? Do they keep Pete for one more season?
I think that if they do, I think that's about as far as you go.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. You can't.
And I understand him. It's just in him. He's a football coach,
Oh, yeah.
just like Marv Levy was.
Yeah.
He's a football coach. Them guys could go. Levy went long, but after a while, you have to just stop. You have to stop. It's a lot on a guy that at that age. He got a lot of energy, but if it's not just that, I would keep him around if he can do something in your up front office or something like that. He's the type of guy that could fit right in doing that, helping with getting talent there and stuff of that nature. But you probably got to get a different person in there, a younger guy, and get them going. I liked them making the move, getting somebody, because I knew he was an organized guy. That's one thing I know. Pete is organized.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that they always had, is it just didn't have the organizational things they need to do. So you start with that. He's a guy that can teach a young guy to be that, and then he can go upstairs and allow somebody else to be the coach.
And that's what you're going to need.
And that's what I think they may do.
To give you an idea, just
wait. Isn't the Titans got 3 or 4 games they don't won? I didn't even know it, but aren't they? I think this past week they were 3-5. I didn't even realize they had 3 wins.
Yeah,
but I think they do. They might.
No, they're 1. The Titans are 1-8.
Are they?
Yeah, the Titans have won. The Titans are 1-8.
Okay.
Maybe you're confusing them with the Texans.
I might have been the Texans. Wait, who did they play this week?
Texans.
That's what it is.
They're 4-5.
Oh, they 4. Did they lose? They lost too, didn't they?
They won.
No, they beat them with
Jacksonville.
Yep.
I got that wrong. That
Yes,
was the
they
game
did.
where Jacksonville was winning the whole game.
Yep.
And they lost to the backup quarterback, Mills.
Uh-huh.
The Texans came back and won that game. And other people at this is what cracks you up, is the people at Jacksonville are just beside themselves because now they're thinking, we need to move on from Trevor Lawrence. And I told Earl, I broke when I started the show, no, you're not moving on from Trevor Lawrence because his dead cap hit is like over $100 million.
And you know what,
$133 million.
Well, you can't move on from him. He's too young anyway.
Right. But
you just got to stay now.
The fans are just
they're going to want him out
because they're mad because he's on. He came out of college. Everybody thought Trevor Lawrence was really going to be like a great quarterback. He did win a playoff game against the Chargers when the Chargers blew that 27-0 lead, but he has really not lived up to the expectations. People had high expectations put on Trevor Lawrence, and he's been kind of a disappointment with has not lived up to those expectations, and the fans are upset. And then you dump a game last week to the Texans, who had the backup quarterback, and you lose 36-29. Maybe you blame your defense, but the point is, it's an excruciating loss because you were winning that whole game, and you were like, and then all of a sudden you fall apart in the fourth quarter, and you let Mills, the backup quarterback, beat you, and the Texans weren't expected even to win the game, and you blew that game to them.
Yeah.
And one thing in the NFL, we talk about it. I mean, it's not the NBA, it's not baseball because they have all those games. You can blow a game, go on a losing streak in those sports and recover. You can't do that in football. You can't give games away.
No, you can't
because you got playoffs. You get 17 games. You can't really blow games and give games away because now people are, Jacksonville may be out of the play. They're right on that fringe where they need to win games to get into the playoffs. They can't give games away.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the big problem there is the Jags are just, the fans down there, what fan base they have, the people are just livid because it's like you can't blow a game like that when you had it won.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I looked at that game. I go, oh, they're going to win that game. They were up. I'll pull up the numbers and all of a sudden.
I don't know how I forgot that because I watched that last part. Dallas Mills did a great job, and he has been a decent backer, but he did a great job bringing them back.
Yeah, Mills did a good job in bringing them back. You can't,
and
right?
That was defensive breakdown. That's the thing. They were screaming, get Trevor out of there. Yeah, he made some mistakes, but it was big-time defensive breakdowns to why they lost that football game. Things that they started doing didn't make any sense on defense. Guys wide open, roaming wide open. I mean, you can't do that, and that's what they lost on. But that's who's going to get a brunt of it. It's going to be that quarterback or whoever that big-time player that's getting all that money. It's going to him. That he's got to be able to handle it. So, with them being that young, they're going to play this out. Just have to play this out. They're going to have to put things around them to win these games. But Cone got to get it going because he had that team. That team was really in good shape. And now you got to watch it. They can't be falling off on these kind of games, though.
Well, the headline of that game is the backup quarterback for the Texans, Davis Mills, brings the Texans back. They were down 19 points in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
And they won 36-29.
Yeah. The defensive breakdowns, big time.
To kind of give you an idea here, the Texans scored 26 points in the fourth quarter to win that game. They were losing. I mean, they were basically losing 29-10 going into the fourth quarter.
Yep.
And the Texans came back, put 26 on the Jags, and win the game 36-29. And that's caused, that basically.
And see, they blamed it on Trevor.
Oh, yeah. Well, they always.
But if you was watch the game, though, you could see something. Their offensive play calling early, not the play. I could say they got what is the play calling because they got conservative. They was attacking, and they was controlling the game.
Right,
they was controlling the game, and then they went to let's run it, let's do these little screens,
right.
And then all of a sudden, here comes Houston. And now, okay, get the offense back going. Nope, he done lost his rhythm.
That's it.
The whole offense
We see that,
is just all uncoordinated. That's why you keep attacking. I think when you playing just keep the foot on the pedal.
Yep.
Just keep going.
Yep. You don't go into the they have a tendency, you see it where they go into we're not going to lose the game mode.
Right.
Instead of we're going to win the game mode, which means again, we're going to attack, we're going to move the ball, we're going to continue to throw it down the field, we're going to score points. We're not letting off. But they went into we're up by 19 points, fourth quarter. Let's kind of, now they playing the clock. They get infatuated with killing the clock instead of saying, no, let's score another touchdown. And we want to put 50 on the board, sort of to speak. No, they get infatuated with clock. Oh no, clock man. Let's start wearing the clock down. And then they go into that run, dink pass. All of a sudden, they can't get first downs. All of a sudden,
people don't think that matters.
No, that does.
I know it does because when you're in a rhythm, you shouldn't do that. When you start going slow, it just throws everything off.
Right, and that's what they did. They pulled the foot off the pedal
too early.
They went into a game of kind of like it's like the control. Like we're going to go ahead and run the ball and work the clock down. We're not playing Houston. We're playing the clock now. And our focus is to run down, take time off the clock, and give Houston few possessions. And you take them out of your rhythm, and then then they get into the 3 downs, out, 3 and out, and all of a sudden Houston is now get the momentum. Davis Mills gets his, I guess, mojo, or gets he got it going.
And they still trying to cover Dalton Schultz. That's how wide open he was.
And that was the other thing. Then the defense gets out there too much. And again, they kind of get worn out a little bit. And then all of a sudden they have breakdown in coverages.
Yeah, there was this. I mean, all kind of things was going wrong. They was playing great defense. The pass rush was good. All of a sudden everything was just off. That's why you just got to keep attacking. And keep attacking and keep attacking.
Yeah. They had 29 points after 3 quarters and then figured, okay,
we got it.
We got this, and we're going to kick it back. And ultimately, what they did, and that was a divisional game, and now they're only a game over Houston. That was what it really hurts you there is if they win that game, they're only a game behind the Colts. Mm-hmm. Now they're 2 games behind the Colts and only 1 game over Houston. Houston's right behind them in the standings. If you see, and this is where people don't understand how big some of these games are, like within a division. Had Jacksonville won that game, they're basically 7-3, 1 game behind Houston, and they would have been 2 games over Houston. Because Houston would have been, Indy, they would have been a game behind Indy and 2 games up on Houston. Mm-hmm. Now they're 2 games behind Indy. They're 5-4, and they've played 1 less game because Indy hasn't had bye yet. But they're 5-4. Indy's 8-2. Now Houston is 4-5. Houston's only a game behind them, and Houston now would have a tiebreaker because they have that 1 head-to-head win with them.
Yep.
So that was a really big game within that division. What does it mean long term? I think Colts win the division, but now you've got your playoff. The Jacksonville Jags were looking at, we're in the playoff system, but that big loss now.
They're going to get it together, and the Colts got to hope the Colts falter. It is still a long season. They got 7 games to go.
You got 7 games.
So for them, they got 8, but the Colts got 7, and can they win all of those or most of them? That's going to be a key for them to see if they can, but man.
But you can't give games away.
Yeah, you can't. You just got to
not in NFL.
And it seemed like they wouldn't do it because I don't think you do it anytime. Take your foot off, but especially not in a division rival and not a division team that is in the playoff hunt.
Right.
You know they're a playoff team. If they're healthy all the way around, they are a playoff team. So why are you taking the foot off the pedal? You got a team like that down, put your foot on the neck, and then finish it off. And I don't know. I watched that last part of it, clicking around, watching the game. I said, let me watch this a little bit. And it got interesting. And I watched the rest, and I couldn't remember that you was right. I was thinking about was Houston was with that record, and it's just like, how do you do that? Let this team. I mean, they were getting blown. I started not to watch it, but then was moving the ball. I said, "Oh, this is interesting," and then it it was like an avalanche. They kept moving the ball. They kept doing whatever they wanted to do.
Well, the playoff picture's early yet, but right now Jacksonville Jags are basically tied with Kansas City. They have the tiebreaker with Kansas City.
They're in the hunt, right?
Yeah. Jacksonville's actually 7. They're actually would be in the playoffs today, but now they're really in competition with the Chiefs. And the reality is you got Baltimore Ravens at 4-5. The Texans are 4-5 right behind them. Mm-hmm. So now you've got those teams nipping at your heels, sort of to speak. And then you've got the Bengals at 3-6, Dolphins 3-7. The Bengals, we'll get to this because they have the big game against the Steelers this week. They have to win the game.
Yeah, they have
because if they lose this game, then Joe Burrow doesn't come back. At least in my eyes, if the Bengals blow this game and go 3-7, they're out of the playoffs. They have no defense anyway. But they need this game, and they need to win a lot more games. Mm-hmm. Maybe they bring Burrow back, but if they blow this game, I don't think you bring Joe Burrow. And the reality with the Cincinnati Bengals, we talked about it, it wouldn't matter if Joe Burrow was back or not, because bottom line is when you think it, Flacco's played just as well as Burrow played.
Yes, he has.
Yardage-wise. I mean, he put how many, almost 500 yards at passing, and they lost against the Bears. I mean, his numbers have been through the roof. Burrow couldn't have probably played much better than Flacco.
I mean, anybody that puts that kind of, I mean, his percentage, everything was good. Completion percentage, and we know yards per attempt. He was great, and he had all those touchdowns. They didn't do that. That's the worst NFL defense. Maybe I'm trying to think in a long time.
Yeah, I can remember
that. And I didn't see bad defense, but I'm talking about every week is 30, 40. They giving up all the time.
Oh yeah.
It's just you don't see that often, even with bad teams. Sometimes they'll just step up and shock you and play some solid defense, but they have not been good all season long.
They have not. And that's been the whole problem with that is the Bengals. The problem you have with Cincinnati, I'm not a fan. I mean, I like the Bengals, but bottom line with them is I just don't think they have the defense to get into the playoffs. I don't care who the quarterback is. They do not have the defense it's going to get them into the playoffs because the defense is so horrendous. You're not going to be able to you're going to have too many losses. You have 6 losses now. You're at Pittsburgh. You're at the Steelers. The Steelers, this should be the week they show up because the Steelers take a week off and play a week and take a week. They're just week in, week out where this is their week to win. Because they didn't show up against the Chargers on Sunday night. Right. They looked absolutely horrendous. The offense just looked like it was not. Yeah. Rodgers just looked totally out of sync with the team. I don't know where you want to blame, or if you're a Steeler fan, they want to get rid of Tomlin anyway. So bottom line is, this should be the week that they win because they're playing the Bengals. They played. Who did they? They didn't show up. They got they played horrible against the Packers. Mm-hmm. They played good against the Colts. And then
the Chargers.
Then they just played absolutely horrendous against the Chargers. They were really never in that game on. Yeah. They lost 25-10, but the Chargers gave them a throwaway touchdown at the end of the game, and it was really 25-3, and it was 25-10, but the game wasn't even that close. But you're breaking down that division there. You've got to be looking at, the Ravens as potentially being the team that's going to win that division because obviously the Browns can't. The Bengals can't. They have no defense. The Browns have no offense. That gives you the Steelers who just don't show up every week. I mean, they lose to Green Bay. They play great against Indy. Then they absolutely get destroyed by the Clippers, the Chargers.
Yeah.
And now you're playing Cincinnati at home, 1:00. They will probably show up and win, but then the next week they go on the road against Chicago. Pittsburgh's got like a tough schedule left.
Yeah. That's a team that's grown up as the Chicago Bears. I mean, they may I don't want to jinx them. Then this week they might come out and lay an egg, but still, I done seen some growth in that football team.
Well,
sure, on both sides.
And that's like I said. You look at the Bears, and then now some people are critical of the Chicago Bears. We've get to that go back to the Steelers schedule here real quick. They play Cincinnati. They're at Chicago, and you said Chicago is a team. But if you look at the competition that Chicago's played, they've barely got by bad competition, so people are kind of poo-pooing their 6-3 record. But the reality is it's still 6-3. But the bottom line you have with Chicago is if they can get through their next – if they can get through they kind of have a tough schedule here, but they could potentially, if they could squeeze out 4 more wins, they're going to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's and the thing about it, I don't really argue with people. They say whatever. They'll say the competition is bad, and I say, you think so? They say, yeah. I said, is this the NFL?
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, there's no bad competition.
No.
I'm telling you, these guys can play.
You win, and they find ways to win games. I don't care. I agree with you. People make me, they go, again, I hear listen to talk show people calling, well, but Chicago, look at and they rattle off the wins, and they're very close games. The teams they've played have losing records, and people just assume they're not that good of a team. They're kind of a fraud. And the thing is, if you watch NFL football, you need to realize it's paper thin. These teams with these games, I don't care who's playing record, they're paper thin. Look at the Buffalo Bills went down to Miami. What the hell happened to them?
I mean, you talking about they got dominated.
They got absolutely they got boat race. They got destroyed. But I mean, Miami kicked them thoroughly. Not only Josh Allen, everybody.
They're running over that defense like it was nothing to it.
The running defense for the Buffalo Bills is very not good. And Miami tore them up. And again, Miami's a wild card team because I don't even know how to ever gauge Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I don't know. Because
they could look horrible on Thursday night against Baltimore.
Right.
And you think this team's dead in the water. They play Buffalo at home, and they dominate the Buffalo Bills.
See, that's why you know it's in them. These teams.
Yeah.
It's in them. But that's why I say you can't say they're competition.
No.
They're team. Okay, I did something. This was not last week, the week before. I looked at Cincinnati's defense from when they went to the Super Bowl, and I looked at the players. Oh, it's this time. I didn't know what that was, guy. We getting ready to get attacked in there.
Dave Clark. Saturday morning sports page. We'll be back after the timeout on Western Reserve Radio.
Someone's got to set the tone out there, boys. Someone's got to set it.
The station that sets the tone for Youngstown Phantoms hockey is Western Reserve Radio. WRTV, The Scourge.
Nina's Pierogi House is your home for the area's best variety of pierogies. Daily specials include the Polish platter, the Hungarian platter, stuffed cabbage, and halushki. Having a last-minute get-together? Lena's has you covered with a wide variety of frozen take-home pierogies and dumplings. Go to Facebook at Lena's Pierogi House to see the weekly lineup of available flavors for dine-in or carry-out. Catch the best at Lena's Monday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 20 North Main Street in Hubbard or call 234-254-8532.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The Village Tavern's been a beloved local landmark in Hubbard, Ohio for nearly a century, and now it's better than ever. Recently renovated and still serving up the same warm hospitality, the Village Tavern is your go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and a laid-back atmosphere. Whether you're stopping in for dinner, catching up with friends, or just looking to relax, you'll enjoy a full menu of American favorites, rotating drink specials, and friendly service that makes every visit memorable. Be sure to visit the Village Tavern at 746 North Main Street in Hubbard, right next to Repair That Glass. To learn more, go to villagetavern3.com.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
Saturday Morning Sports Page coming right back at you. 330-707-4202. Get in, talk sports. Do it every Saturday morning here. Here is Western Reserve Radio. I'm Pat Lucia, Dave Clark joining me as always as we talk wonderful world of sports. Talked a lot NFL. This is time of year we usually do.
Yep.
Right now we are in the wheelhouse of the NFL.
Yeah.
You start looking at these teams and the divisions and how the playoff picture starting to evolve. Even college now is a little bit farther in.
Yeah, it's better now. I like it.
And that's really where it gets interesting. We'll look at some of those.
Yeah.
Again, Paul Feinbaum believes there's 5 or 6 teams in the SEC that should get in. He's probably right if you're going to put the best teams in.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to get into, we need to have a team represent a conference to get in, then you're not getting the best teams. In my opinion, I have no problem with them putting 5 or 6 teams SEC. I still think Alabama should have got in last year over SMU, but they didn't. They wanted to put the small team in from this conference, yada yada yada, and that didn't work out well.
Yeah.
I still think you put. I don't care. Forget the conferences. Who are the best teams? Get the 12 best teams in.
Yeah.
If 6 happen to be from the SEC, well.
I think then the problem with it, I think, is that they don't want to break up conference affiliation because you will if that happens. If you just went with the best team, then your conference means nothing.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't mean anything. So, guys, those games are so important within the conference.
That's
so
where
you got to get there. So you got to battle and get there, and that's the best thing. You get those guys in there. If you do the 4 or 5 conference things and get them in there, now your next 7 should be wild card. I think you go and get the best of that 7 or 8 additional teams.
And then you get the best.
Then you'll get most of the best. You still might have a couple teams on the outside looking in that actually are better than probably a conference winner. But they didn't do that. All I could tell them is switch conferences. Because if you're going to have the conference be important, because it is normally even to go to bowl games. But if you have it straight across the board, where there's no conference, you're not worrying about winning a conference, then I think you do it that way. And you will every year get the best teams. But, that even happens in the well, no, not really. I was going to say in the NFL, but yes, it does. Yes, it does, because sometimes you'll get a 500 team, especially when they have 16 games, because they win the division at 8-8 or 9-7.
Yeah, that's happened.
And you had teams with 10 wins and 11 and didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think what they're trying to get to the NFL, they keep bringing that up every year, is they've even brought up, and they still don't want to do it, but I think they'll ultimately get it, where for seeding purposes, a big complaint is, to your point, a team will be a 9-8 team will win a division. They'll play the 11-3 team like Minnesota, or 11, we'll say whatever, 11-5, whatever.
Yeah.
And they'll ultimately say they get the home field.
9-7.
9-8 will get it.
Yep.
And the 11-6 team will be on the road, or the 14-3 team will be on the road, like last year with Minnesota. And they were saying, well, Minnesota, because they were 14-3 and they finished second in that division, they should have a home field over the division winner. They had to go to a division winner and they lost. I think it was the Rams last year's playoffs, and people were upset saying Minnesota should have got the home field because they had the better record. But the NFL saying, no, the division winner gets the home field, even though their record isn't as good as the wild card team that's coming to play them. The division winner gets the home field. And now they want to, a lot of people think they ought to change it and say, okay, you're going to stick the division winner in the playoffs, but they don't get a home field if their record isn't as good as the team that they're playing.
Yeah. Now, see, I agree with that. That's what
and
I said.
I have no problem with that.
That's what I'm
I
talking
think
about with college football. You let the conference winner, they did it. They won their conference. They're in. But now, if you switch that to the NFL, I do not like when a team is 9-8 and a 13-4 team got to travel to them, and they're in a better conference. What conference did we see that? Was it one that made everybody in the division made it, or it was the top three that made the playoffs a couple years ago?
Yeah.
I forgot who it is. It's one of those conferences, 3 of them made it. And their third team had a better record than one of the division winners.
Right.
That's not good. That's not good that you got to make them. No. I don't care if they're a division winner or not. They got to travel to them.
Last year, the Vikings had the better record. They had to play the Rams. The Rams were a 4 seed. The Vikings were the 5 seed. But the Vikings had to travel out to the big gazebo and play the Rams, and they lost 27-9. And the Vikings had, I believe, the Vikings were 14-3 last year, and they lost to the LA Rams. And I believe the Rams were like going into that game. I think the Rams were 10-7. Yeah, the Rams were 10-7. The Vikings were 14-3. And the Vikings had to go out to LA and play. And people are like, why didn't the Rams? Because the Rams won the division at 10-7. And the Vikings were 14-3. They were the wild card.
Yeah.
And now the rage was, no, maybe in the future what they need to do is let those teams, the Vikings should have home field. Even though the Rams win the division, they win a playoff spot. But since their record is obviously not as good as the Vikings, let the Vikings have the home field because they were 14-3. But they finished second to the Detroit Lions last year in the division.
Right.
And that's basically what happened. And then Detroit got the Detroit was 15-2, but they got beat first round by Washington. Second round, they got beat at home by the Washington Commanders 45-31.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Rams lost to Philly 28-22 in a game. If the center gets the block and Stafford doesn't get lambasted, the guy's open in the end zone, the Rams would have beat Philly.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how close that game ended up. And then Philly destroyed Washington 55-23. So I guess here's the other question this year is the other, we were talking a lot about the North being the AFC North being open, as far as it looks like people still think the Ravens are favored to win that division because they have no faith in the Steelers.
Yeah. I know.
5-4. And I guess the question is going to come down to what happens if the Steelers don't get into the playoffs. Tomlin goes 9-8 and they lose the playoffs because they still have to play the Ravens twice.
Yeah.
People want Tomlin fired.
Let's see what happens.
I just don't think it's going to happen.
I know.
I know the fans want it to happen.
Yeah.
But I don't think Rooney's going to do it. I don't think Rooney's are going to. I don't think they're going to fire Tomlin. He's going to be the.
I don't know what his contract goes through, but it's probably 27 somewhere in there.
Didn't they give? I think they just signed.
Might have been further than that, so I don't know. But it'd be if they fire him. Why he still has years on his contract. It'd be unprecedented. That's something that you don't usually see with Steeler football, but
it extends. According to this, it extends through 2027.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
So that would be he signed a 3-year extension in June of 2024. giving him reportedly gets $16 million a year. He's one of the higher paid coaches. 3-year extension, that's going to get him through 2027. So that's 2 more years.
Yeah. It's going to,
That's 16 mil a year. So he's going to get 2 or now speaking of there's Giant fans that are saying they should trade for Tomlin. They should give like a first round pick and trade the Steelers for Tomlin.
That'd be something, wouldn't it? Now that's something the Rooney said they would never do, but we don't know. It's always a chance of something happening for the first time. It's just hard to see that happening there, but we'll see. They've been asking for him to be gone for the longest, and I'm sure if he's not burned out and want to coach, and they did get rid of him, I'm sure the Giants would take him. I think they would take him. I don't really think he'd be out of a job too long as he wants to coach.
Okay, here are Dave Clark. If you're a betting man, Dave Clark, I'm not, but if you were to go bet right now, here are the odds for the candidates for the New York Giant. Right now, Mike McCarthy is the favorite, plus 700. He's 7-1. Well, Belichick was basically plus 750. Take that off the board because Belichick says he's not interested. John Gruden is up there next at 800. I don't think John Gruden's getting it because he's got that lawsuit against the NFL right now that's pending. I don't think like the NFL, I'm sure, and Mara's close to Goodell. I'm sure Goodell's telling him, no, you're not hiring him. We're hanging, he's got us mired in that lawsuit where he wants to expose the NFL with all those emails. It's not about money. John Gruden's saying, you got me fired because of these emails. We want to see all the emails. Like, it's just not me, guy. There's a lot of other people here that have emails of, we'll say, questionable content. Leave it at that. I want all those out there. And the NFL obviously doesn't want to do that. And they're fighting the courts. And it's just an ugly lawsuit. And so bottom line is they've got John Gruden as third, which I don't think is going to be, I personally don't think it's going to happen. I could be wrong. Clint Kubiak, who is the defensive, he's the offense.
He's offense.
Offense.
And I don't know if he used to be at the Saints, Denver at one time. And that's, I don't know where he's at now. But I remember he's at the Saints at one time too.
Here. He is right now the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
So he's with...
Yeah. He does a good job.
He's done an excellent job. He's got Sam Darnold really playing great, and Seattle is potential Super Bowl favorite.
Yeah, I know.
So his name is considered his fourth. Mike Kafka, who currently is the he's the interim coach, but and Jameis Winston is starting for the New York Giants, by the way. He's fifth. Lou Anarumo is the next, and Cliff Kingsbury and Joe Brady.
Okay. I got a feeling that Joe Brady would be off the board because I actually feel he might go to LSU. I don't know why. I just feel he might go back there.
Well, he coached Burrow there. Yeah, that's a good catch.
And he could go there. Kafka is somebody, let's see how he does because that would be a very good coach right there. Young. And
if they do good,
they might.
He may just promote him. Like I don't.
He moved up to the ranks quick. He was a quarterback coach with the Eagles. The guys loved that dude, and then he just kept on moving up and moving up. So he's a guy that could be this. Everything goes well. You got a young quarterback there. That could happen. But you almost see Mike McCarthy. He's got a good track record of always having teams as a winner. People think of him as a loser, and yes, Dallas was 12-5 a couple times with him, and 13-4.
McCarthy's a good coach. He wins.
That's that's the players just didn't play well in big moments for the Cowboys. So, it's always going to be pressure on the Cowboys because of the stars. They say Jerry Jones puts a lot of bullseyes on them. So, I just he's always going to have a chance to be in the coach. But I mean, I'm leaning towards McCarthy, but I wouldn't be surprised that a guy like
I could see
Kubiak and
Right.
Kafka, if he does a good job, then you got him already in house. You don't have
Well,
to
let's
worry about
look.
it.
Let's bring up Kafka's resume. He played for Northwestern. He actually played in the NFL.
Yeah, he played for the Eagles.
He played for the Eagles. He played for New England. He made practice squad. He's a fringe player, but he became a grad assistant in Northwestern in 2000, and then was the next year was Kansas City as an offensive quality control. Then he was the quarterback coach for a couple of years. Then he moved his way up from Kansas City. He went to the Giants, and he's been with the Giants offensive coordinator since 2022, an assistant head coach, and now he's the head coach. He's worked himself up, so he's obviously a good potential and then they don't have to turn the team over.
No.
Like, you're not going to bring in a guy and start changing position coaches. You keep the solid team, you keep the defense, you keep everybody in house, and you work. And then and Dart will have really the guy he's been working with, and it's really no impact on Dart. That's where their concern is.
Yep.
And Dart's out this week with a concussion. I won't be surprised if he doesn't miss a couple more weeks with that, because I think the Giants now have to be careful he doesn't turn into Tua. When he gets another concussion, he's out for the year.
Yeah, I think they said one more, right?
One more. I think he's done. And I think if you're a New York Giant fan, I think you just roll with Winston. Your season's gone. You're not going anywhere. The Giants. Yeah. I would roll Jameis Winston out and take my chance. Kafka seems to have him configure. If he can win as long as Winston's not throwing to the other team, he's a good quarterback.
Yeah,
that's just been his problem.
And then guys play hard.
And they like him.
Yeah, everywhere he's been.
He's a likable guy. The team likes him. I mean, everybody likes playing with him.
Yep.
And I think if Kafka can keep him from throwing interceptions, Winston may be your quarterback till now the end of the year, and you keep Dart on the shelf.
Yep.
Because if he gets another concussion, he's done for the year.
Yeah. Yep, that's for sure.
In my eyes, because that's one thing Dable did. He mismanaged his concussions.
Yeah.
That's the other reason why Dable's out of a job, I think, among the bad record and all the other problems you mentioned.
Yeah, but they're trying to force that guy in there. That's just too much.
That's too much. Roger Goodell probably wanted to jump up and strangle Dable right there.
He probably fired him. It might not even been the Giants.
No.
He might have fired him.
I think it could have been Goodell that got him fired. Let's go to the phones.
Well, that didn't help there, huh?
No, it did not help.
Well, whoever is, they give us a call back. Little difficulties there, but
we'll have that person call back. Irish Mike, give us a call back when you get a chance. Yeah, there was a problem with the phone, and I had to go ahead and make it. Yeah, okay. So give us a buzz back. Anyway, we're talking obviously the New York Giants. What are they going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Kafka is obviously the interim now. I wouldn't be overly shocked if he does well and Winston wins. If they win a couple games and they look really good with Jameis Winston, that Kafka doesn't get the job, because I think Mara doesn't want turnover as much as as possible. And you bring in a new coach, you're going to get turnover.
You might want to. Well, I'm sure he's going to want to bring in his staff.
Right.
And you want a smooth transition, you're going to have to allow him to bring in the guys he wants to work with. So we'll see what happened, though. It's going to be very interesting. So it's all up there. I think if Kafka could do well, maybe they'll hold on. Some teams got to learn. They'll just hold on to the guy that's got your team going in the right direction. You don't have to be a big name all the time.
Yeah, we wait and see how this works out, like for the Giants. I said right now, Mike McCarthy is, according to the odds makers, Mike McCarthy is the favorite to potentially be the head coach at plus 700. Take Belichick out. He was and Gruden, take them out. They have Gruden plus 800. Clint Kubiak is plus 850. Mike Kafka is 900. Lou Anarumo is plus 950. Cliff Kingsbury is 10-1, and then Joe Brady's 10-1. So they're next.
Okay.
Kingsbury's a good coach too.
Yeah,
and he's an offensive guy who's done well with Washington. They got the injuries though with Jaden Daniels, but I thought he did good in with the Cardinals. Cardinals are kind of like a semi like New York Jets, same dysfunction history. It's always been a problem with problems out there just with the team, and they look good on paper and then they just never play well and they always lose. They look good and then it's like something happens, somebody doesn't this, and they end up, always they always find ways to lose. There's teams that find ways to win. The Cardinals are in that list, like the Jets, the Browns, the Cardinals. They're always kind of finding ways to lose games. Make bad decisions. Either a coaching decision doesn't work out or the quarterback decision. Like I said, they gave Murray all the money. Now he's not the guy. Let's try the phones again. You're on the sports page. What's up?
Hello.
Hello. You there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, we were having some problems with the phones. That's why I was wondering.
Hi, Pat. Hi, Dave. How you guys doing?
Good, Irish Mike. What's happening?
Nothing. Just listening to you guys' show and run around and do some leaves here very shortly.
Oh, good.
Monday.
Oh, leaves.
A lot of college football all day long, huh?
Yeah, we got it. We got a lot of good college football on.
Good games today.
You're the Fighting Irish are at noon today. I know you got stuff to do because you want to be in front of the TV when they're at Pitt.
The Pitt Panthers.
The Pitt Panthers are vying for a ACC chance, but according, there's some people that think that
Ursuline's own and Pitt head coach Pat Marduzzi made some strange comments on Monday, huh?
Yeah, he did. He said that the Notre Dame game doesn't matter. He's just worried about the 2 ACC games after that. So he doesn't care if he gets blown out by Notre Dame. And as I'm paraphrasing it, but it was like that game is just not that important because he's got the 2 ACC teams schools after that. Those games are more important than the Notre Dame game. In essence,
well, he's always been extremely vocal about wanting Notre Dame to join a conference. So I think that was a semi-shot without taking.
I was going to say, is that
and obviously he finishes up Pat next week? They're at Georgia Tech, and then they finish up with Dave's Miami Hurricanes on Thanksgiving weekend at home. So obviously if he's not wrong in the context if they win those 2 games, they got a great shot of playing in the ACC championship game in the first weekend of December. So in that context, he's not wrong. He just came out kind of awkward.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what a good way to put it. I mean, the problem is, I know what he's saying, but it's not. It's the way it comes off. It's like, oh, so what? Are you not going to show up and play this game, kind of speak, because it's not important, because you're too worried about the 2 games after this. So you're almost even admitting that you're like overlooking this game because it's not that important. I mean, that's how it came off. And like I said, let's look at the ACC, the landscape of the ACC conference as of today. You basically have 5 teams with just 1 loss. You've got Georgia Tech, Virginia, Pitt, and SMU, our favorite team, 5-1, and the Duke Blue Devils are 4-1. And now the Duke Blue Devils could win the conference, and people are saying, well, if they win, they have 4 losses. If Duke would find a way to get to the ACC conference and win it, they're not going. They're not going to put Duke in the top 12 because they have 4 losses.
Yeah, you would think.
So that's like the ACC's worst nightmare is what you're saying.
Exactly.
3 of their 4 losses have been non-league. They lost last week out of Connecticut. That was a non-league game. So 3 of their 4 losses, like you said, came out of league.
Right.
Yeah.
They're 4-1 in the league, but again, you lost to UConn last week, 37-34. Yeah. No. Yeah. You lost to.
I think Narduzzi.
If they would win today at Pitt, their last 2 games are home against Syracuse. They'll be heavy favored. Then out at Stanford at Thanksgiving weekend, which they'll be another heavy favored. If Oklahoma beats Alabama tonight down in Tuscaloosa or this afternoon, and then tonight if Texas beats Georgia between the hedges, both Georgia and Alabama are not falling behind Notre Dame, and then both Oklahoma and Texas will jump Notre Dame and move ahead of them.
Right.
So you have the ACC will be in their glory because they'll have potentially 5 teams make the Final 12.
Well, according to Paul Feinbaum, he had at least 5, maybe 6 teams getting in.
Yes.
He wants to make it the SEC Invitational because he's talking about maybe 6 teams getting in from the SEC. Because I had this up last night, and I was saying Paul Feinbaum really wants to put at least, he says 5 teams right now is going to get in from the SEC. Is what he has.
Yeah, potentially could happen. I mean, obviously,
but I can't rule it out.
I sympathize with Texas. I have a buddy who says even if Texas loses tonight, that's 3 losses. They finish out the year with Missouri, I believe, and then they played home against Texas A&M on Thanksgiving weekend. That even if they went 9-3, they still should be given consideration because they played Ohio State and Columbus. They played Georgia and Athens. They played Ole Miss, and you know what I mean. He said, "Look at their schedule. Their schedule's been brutal this year." And believe it or not, Pat, my friends have really come around on this. Believe it or not, I know they argued this 5, 10, 15 years ago, and they all love Ohio State, and they all have told me the SEC is a much better conference overall than the Big Ten is, from top to bottom.
It is.
They said there's more landmines in the SEC than there are in the Big Ten.
Well, it's true. Yeah,
and they're not wrong. I said you're 100% right. I mean, just when you get to the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams and the SEC, those are games you could very easily lose. Oregon played the 8th best team in the Big Ten last night and won by 4 touchdowns over Minnesota.
And that's the problem with the Big Ten. Here's the teams. Feinbaum says these are, and I don't disagree with him. Here are potentially 6 teams from the SEC making it. Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and Texas being
and Georgia, right?
Yeah, Georgia. Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and Texas.
That's 5 there.
And 5, and there's one more. It says 6 teams. I wonder which.
Was he talking about Missouri?
Alabama's 1.
Alabama
Georgia
1.
2.
Georgia.
Texas A&M 3.
Ole Miss.
4. Texas
5.
Is it Missouri?
Right?
Yeah, that's 5. Yeah, that's 5.
Or Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma would be 6.
Oklahoma would be the 6.
Yeah, Oklahoma would be 6.
And especially if they win today.
Yeah. 12 teams be SEC schools.
Yeah, Oklahoma's the next one.
If they win today, they in the mix.
Oh yeah, if Oklahoma beats Bama, it's on.
They in there.
Well, let me ask you guys. I mean, we'll do our picks on that. Which would you see more likely? Oklahoma beating Alabama on the road, or would you or Texas beating Georgia between the hedges? Which is more likely to happen? Potentially happen.
Wait, hold on. We're gonna hold on.
Okay.
We'll get that right after the break. That's a great question, Irish Mike. Back after a quick timeout on Western Reserve Radio. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark, Saturday Morning Sports Page.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Are you tired of switching apps just to catch your favorite shows and live events? Say hello to the iMedia1 Network app, your one-stop destination for streaming and everything that matters. From national sports to exclusive local content, Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast are now all in one place, anytime, anywhere. Download the free iMedia1 Network app on iOS and Android and unlock the future of sports audio in the palm of your hand. The iMedia1 Network, your sports app in the Valley.
If I could be you.
And you could be me? For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
I'm getting older. Do I need to worry about falling?
Yes, you do. Each year, 1 in 4 people 65 and older will experience a fall, and many will be serious. The majority of falls happen at home, so remove things that could make you trip and install handrails to keep you steady. To learn more about the steps you can take to help prevent a fall, please talk to your doctor. You can also visit aarpfoundation.org or medicaremadeclear.com/falls. This message was brought to you by United Healthcare and AARP Foundation.
Saturday Morning Sports Page, right back at you. Hey, Irish Mike, you back?
Yes, I am.
Can you hear us better?
Yes, I can hear you better now. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, there was a kind of playing with the board here, trying to make adjustments.
Try to turn the volume up a little bit.
Okay, good deal. All right, good. Yeah, we're getting back. That's a great question. We left that segment off with who's more apt to win, Oklahoma at Bama or Texas at Georgia. And just so you know, Bama Oklahoma gets 5.5 at Bama, and Texas is getting 6.5 at Georgia. So the point spread is real close.
I'm gonna say, I'm not even gonna mull over it longer. I'm gonna say more likely Oklahoma upsets Alabama
then
before I think Texas
can beat Georgia. Upset them, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can never make.
It's going to be.
It's going to be tough. Oklahoma to me is such a wild card team.
Yeah, I just don't know what Oklahoma team am I going to get.
That's the question I always have.
Where's that quarterback going to be? But see, that's the same thing with Texas.
Same thing.
Where's that quarterback going to be in this big game? And I don't know.
And what's great, Oklahoma 7-2, Alabama 8-1, and Texas 7-2 at Georgia 8-1.
That was a great job, Irish Mike.
Yeah, and
some fun for Saturday
throw this
morning.
out at you. Guess who's on at 3:30 today? Oklahoma at Bama at 3:30. Then tonight at 7:30, Texas at Georgia.
I mean, this right here.
This is almost like a playoff.
Oh, yeah, this is, man. You talking about guys? The guys are going to be. There are some big time women college football fans and football fans, period. But I'm just saying, from the guys' perspective, this is a big weekend.
Sure it is.
In front of your TV.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all kind of treats and everything else. This
and then
is a good weekend.
The Buckeyes play UCLA tonight in prime time.
And the UCLA quarterback, Nico's not playing.
And he's not playing.
It don't matter.
UCLA quarterback's not playing.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I wasn't watching that one. I mean, I could have it on just to check it out, just to see the score. They get destroyed.
What bothers me, though, Pat, about Feinbaum, let's suppose hypothetically Georgia gets upset at home today by Texas. They're 6.5 point favorite. And then in 2 weeks they lose to Georgia Tech. That would be 3 losses. Feinbaum would still be saying they should get in the final 12.
Oh, he would.
What if Georgia?
Yeah. And they should have lost to Auburn. We all saw what happened.
Down in
Auburn.
He'll say that.
Horrible officiating.
Yeah,
I can't watch him long.
They very conveniently forget those things as the season moves on. I mean, it's like they look over here, but don't look over here.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. He thinks it's the SEC Invitational.
But that's him.
That's what he thinks. He thinks that if Feinbaum was on the committee and he had his call, there'd be 8 teams in from the SEC and 4 teams would be the other balance.
Yep. That's why sometimes I like to watch the national guys. I don't even like the teams like we're Miami, Florida. They're ACC guy, and they start talking. Oh, I don't want to hear that. Just let me hear a guy that's going to give a opinion of how he think all this landscape of college football is and fair all the way around the board. I'd rather hear that. But fine will be.
Well,
Oh
I think
man,
he's. What do they call him? He likes to shake the pom poms for the SEC.
yeah, get some nice. I think he gets some kickback.
Yeah, maybe he's.
Hey, this world, these times, he probably get some kickback.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the SEC. That's how they usually roll. That's always been the reputation of the SEC for years. Is with recruiting. They were always, people always accuse the SEC of always being, running as far as the rules. They were always bending the proverbial rules with the NCAA, and they were always over recruiting players.
Oh yeah.
All the time. I mean, it was like they've always been kind of playing quick with the rules, sort of to speak. That's
Well,
been
they used to do, they recruit guys. They knew they were great, but they said, "I'm gonna just recruit all these guys same position, so you don't get them."
Exactly.
That's why they did it, so the other teams won't get them.
And that's why they're upset with the transfer portal, because these kids
now they can say, "Hey, bye."
Kids leave.
That's right. Which I
still think
people didn't like it, but I don't care. I like it like that.
I like it that way.
Kids will stand on the bench 3 and 4 years and should not have been.
Right, and you've got parity, and that makes college football better because it gives you better parity. Because these teams like the Northwesterns of the world and the kind of the average teams are now getting better players, and they're competing better in conferences.
And that's why we be stinking in our picks, because you can't really take the name teams no more. You used to, okay, that's so and so, I'll take them. Nope, you can't do that all the time no more.
No, I don't know. That might be in college, but I don't know what the hell's going on in NFL this year.
Yeah, I think it's parity there too.
We are just underwater.
You don't know what's going to happen there.
But anyway, Irish Mike, getting back. Let's hit the picks. Let's do it now, because I know you got to get those leaves taken care of.
I hate those leaves.
Oh, those things are so nasty. Let's go. I put the Notre Dame at Pitt on 12.5. Pitt gets 12.5 at home. So home dog, Pitt gets 12.5. Notre Dame at noon today, Irish Mike. Good game. It's going to be nice weather, like 50 some odd degrees.
Yeah,
clear,
like
50 degrees. It's going to be a nice day down there.
Yep.
No weather to deal with. Well, Irish Mike, what do you say? Does Notre Dame cover?
How much did they get?
12.5.
That freshman quarterback for Pitt, since they switched to him like 6 weeks ago, he's been phenomenal.
Yes,
he's been very good.
We're talking about an under-recruited kid, and he was a 3-star kid coming out of Ohio he was committed to Ohio University, and then Pitt was his only Power 4 offer, and he changed late in the game last December and committed to Pitt, went on campus, and by the end of spring ball, they thought he was a starter. They had that veteran there. They gave him the first couple games, and he didn't perform. So when they put that kid in 7 weeks ago, he's done a tremendous job.
Yeah.
I think it's one of these days, guys, where Notre Dame wins the game, but Pitt covers the 12.5.
Yep, that's what I'm going. I'm going that way also.
Okay, so you guys want Pitt.
Yep.
And that started off like a 9.5, 10, so it's risen up. You know what I mean? You could use those wise guys, but all the money's come on Notre Dame the last 3 or 4 days. So, but I'll still take. I think Notre Dame wins the game, but Pitt covers.
Well, yeah, and I think that's going to be the interesting. That's that. How does he? Heinz Scheitel. Matt Mason, is that the guy? Yeah. Heinz.
Pronouncing his last name?
Yeah.
No.
It's Heinz Scheitel.
Yeah.
Is that it, Irish Mike? Mason Heinz Scheitel. I apologize for the.
Ohio, which is out west somewhere.
Yeah, I think.
For several months, and then Pitt didn't offer until last Thanksgiving. So he's a true freshman.
He
has some weird statistics of guys. They're in the top 10 in the country, giving up most sacks. They're in the top 10 that have most turnovers, but they're also in the top 10 for most offense in the season too. So there's some weird dynamics going on there.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Bottom line is, yeah, he's the guy from Pitt. I was just trying to see. I think he went from, you said he's from I think he's Western Ohio. He might be from I think he's from out.
Oregon City or Oregon Clay High School or something. It was one of those high schools I haven't heard from before. And he was definitely under-recruited.
Yeah. He's, where he's from? He's from the Toledo area. He played Clay High School. That's Oregon, Ohio. That's right. That's a suburb of Toledo.
Gotcha.
So that's basically what it is. So, yeah, he's a freshman, yeah. I'm going to take ND, and I'll lay the points.
Okay.
Let's move on to Michigan at Northwestern. 10.5 points. Northwestern's getting 10.5 today. They host Michigan.
I will go on the ledge. I am.
I'm going to go with Michigan.
I'm going Northwestern.
Going Northwestern, okay.
How many? I'm getting 10.5?
Getting 10.5.
Yeah, I'm going to the ledge.
Okay. I'll take Michigan.
Hopefully I don't jump.
Let's go to Arizona at Cincinnati. -6.5.
This is a must-win for Cincinnati. They're creeping around. If they can win out, potentially sneak into the final 12.
They lost last
now. I mean, obviously they got to win out. They can't have any bumps in the road. I'm going to go with Cincinnati at home.
Yeah, they lay 6.5.
6.5?
Yeah, they lay in 6.5 to Zona.
They got some athletes there. How are they going to play here in Ohio? Well, that's a night game.
Noon.
Decent weather. I'm going to go on them again. Been so bad. So let me go ahead and take Arizona.
I'll take Cincinnati home and lay the 6.5. Let's go to the big 3:30 game. We just talked about it. Oklahoma at Alabama. -5.5. Oklahoma getting -5.5 today at 3:30 on ABC. That's why they got this thing settled. Because you get Oklahoma on ABC, then you got Texas tonight on ABC. That's why they
lost a lot of.
Oh, they lost their proverbial. I had that up. They lost. They took their stock took a shot. They took a big hit. ESPN Disney stock took a whack.
Wow.
For not being on. I had it up. It was a lot. They lost a lot of money on this. Million. I thought it was, I'll look it up, but I thought it was like 30 million hit.
Yeah.
On having this all. I mean, it's not good. You got you wouldn't believe how many people have YouTube TV.
Yeah, no. They sure do. They got a lot of people.
And you got a lot, and it hurt their ratings. The Monday night ratings were only 10 million. And they get a lot better ratings. And their ratings were off because people couldn't watch the game.
Right. And now this is Oklahoma getting 5.5. You said.
Yeah, Oklahoma gets 5.5.
I'm just gonna go all in. I'm gonna get jacked up. I'm going Oklahoma. I'm gonna go Oklahoma.
I'll go with Alabama.
They are at home, right? Bama home, right?
Yes, they're at home. Alabama's at home. Yes.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take them.
Oklahoma kicked the crap out of him last year. Dave and Norman, remember that game?
Yeah.
Towards the end of the year, Oklahoma killed him.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm gonna stay Oklahoma. I'm gonna go on the limb.
Okay, I'll take Alabama. Iowa at USC today, -6.5. Iowa's getting 6.5.
Oh boy, they play good defense. Iowa.
I'm actually going to go with Iowa in this game. I mean, this is a blue-collar physical team, and usually, traditionally in the past, the USC struggles with those blue-collar physical teams.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
What do you want,
That's
Dave?
the same thing that Miami does. They struggle with teams like that, too.
But Iowa suffered a brutal loss last week at home against Oregon. The last play of the game, that was a brutal loss, a game they probably should have won.
You know what? I think I'm going to take Iowa. I'm going to take Iowa, too. They getting 6.5? 6 and a hook, you said?
Yeah, Iowa gets 6.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take them.
You're going to take Iowa? I'll take USC and lay the 6.5. I'll take the home team. Next one up is Virginia at Duke. Both these teams lost last week. Virginia got beat by Wake Forest 16-9, and Duke, as you said, Irish Mike, they lost to UConn 37
I'm going to go with Duke. I'm going to go with the ACC's worst nightmare because Duke's got. You mentioned Duke earlier, Pat. They play their last 3 games at home too, so they had the home court advantage, so to speak. So I'm going to go with Duke Blue Devils.
This is a hard one. Did they look past? Was they just out there running around and lost to Connecticut?
There's 5-4. They lost to UConn.
What's Virginia's record?
8-2. But they got beat last week by Wake Forest. But Wake Forest, they said, is sneaky good. You got to be careful.
Because I didn't watch them earlier.
Right. Wake Forest is actually better.
I'm going to go Virginia.
Yeah, I'll take Virginia.
Virginia getting the points too, right?
Yeah, 3 and a hook.
The NCAA selection committee hates the ACC with a passion.
Oh, you know they do. You know
they do.
Yeah.
Right? Let's be honest.
No, they basically know that they basically hate them.
No, you know what? I switched back. I'm going Duke.
You're going to go Duke.
You said it's only 3 and a hook, right?
Yep. Duke lays 3 and a hook to Virginia.
And Duke's at home.
Duke's at home. I'll take Virginia because, I don't know, Duke lost. I'm taking Duke because they lost to UConn.
Right.
That's the only reason why I'm taking them.
You taking Virginia?
Yeah, I'm taking Virginia just because they lost to UConn. I know they're home.
I'm going to take Duke just because they are home. I am. I'm going to take
I'm taking Virginia because Duke lost to UConn. I don't know anything, but that's either here or there. Let's go to Utah at Baylor. And actually, Baylor's getting 8.5 at home. Utah travels down, and that's 7 o'clock tonight on ESPN2. So, just for the record, Virginia at Duke is 3:30 today on ESPN2. Iowa at USC is on Big Ten Network at 3:30, but they're up against Oklahoma Bama at 3:30, and you know what everybody's watching. Oklahoma Bama.
Yeah, more than likely. That's what
But some people are going to go to the sports bar and watch them all. So that'll be a day for that. People will be doing that today.
Dave Clark, Lucia's still mad at YouTube TV. He's missing his Mac action on Tuesday.
I am. I am too. I missed that.
I couldn't watch that
I
during the week.
couldn't watch that because there was no. Yeah, I was
you had
mad.
CBS Network for the. I forgot.
Yeah,
but
CBS, but no, but
the Mac is
the
on
Mac
that.
is on
He texted me
ESPN.
on Tuesday night wanting Kent State Akron updates.
I know. I like that.
They messed us.
I love the Mac, especially when they're playing
does.
Tuesday.
At the lunch table on every Wednesday and Thursday, how people talk about the games from the night before.
I know.
Oh yeah, we watched it. Yeah.
But you know what it is?
Like
that's the thing.
Browns or something. Like, yeah, because there's nothing else to do on Tuesday and Wednesday night. So it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I know.
We enjoyed them.
Yeah, here it is. I did throw this at Disney lost average. I just looked this up. Their stock dropped. They were losing $4 million a day.
Oh my goodness.
They lost $4 million a day because they didn't have the channels from YouTube TV. Disney, it says here, according to the Sports Business Journal, this is WBZ News Radio 1030 website, Disney is losing a close to $4 million per day during the absence of its channels from YouTube TV. It's been estimated that ESPN is losing 15% of its audience for Monday Night Football, college football, and college game day.
Yeah.
And then with this weekend coming up, they figured it out because they weren't going to roll into this weekend with people.
Not with those games.
Not with these games.
No.
And not,
oh my goodness.
No, that's why they got this sucker settled.
Yeah.
Because people are sitting there going, I'm not going to get Oklahoma Bama, and I'm not going to get Texas. I'm not getting Arch Manning versus Georgia.
And I was holding out too. I said, boy, I want to get that ESPN app.
Right.
I'm not doing that. I'm not paying that $30.
Well, that's what people weren't going to do.
Yeah. Hold out and see what happens.
So Utah at Baylor.
And I'm taking.
What do you want?
Utah's going to win. I'm going to go with Utah.
And lay the 8.5. 8.5 points.
At home. I love them at home, but I think Baylor can hang with them.
I'll take Baylor.
Yeah, I am too. 8 and a hook.
They get 8 and a hook.
Yeah,
I'll take the home team, Baylor, and 8 and a hook.
Yep, I am also.
Texas at Georgia. Big game.
I'm going to take Georgia.
Lay 6.5.
I don't know why I thought I'd seen 5 before. I'm looking at something else.
This says 6.5. I looked at it this morning.
Oh, my goodness, 6.5. That's
a lot of wood.
And that's that hook. I hate that hook.
What do you think, Irish Mike?
I'm gonna take Texas in the points. I think Georgia wins games. I think Texas keep it close. So I'll take Texas in the points.
I'll just stay where I'm at. This could be a 2 and something record. I'm gonna go Georgia. I'm gonna stay Georgia. I'll just stay with it.
All right, I'll go Texas. I like the points. Final game, TCU at BYU.
Ooh.
And TCU gets 3.5 points. They lost last week to Iowa State. And then BYU got beat by Texas Tech last week, 29-7.
That was a bad loss, guy. I know it's BYU's first loss, guys, but that was a bad loss. From the look, you know what I mean? You have a lot of coaches on this committee, and they love the looks test. They love the eyes test.
Yeah.
For BYU, that was not a good eye test last week at all.
No.
They got manhandled by Texas Tech. Didn't you guys think that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Texas Tech.
29-7. It wasn't close.
I
you
love
can
their
talk about top 12
defense,
teams,
Texas
but
Tech.
they didn't. I know they were undefeated, but it's only one loss. But they don't look like a top 12 team.
No, not when they get hammered by Texas Tech like that.
Yes.
Now Texas Tech is in the Big 12, right?
That's correct. Yes.
They're not in the SEC. They're in the Big 12. I know because it gets confusing. A&M is the SEC, but Texas Tech is still Big 12.
Well,
okay.
Yeah. They tough too.
They're a good team, Texas Tech.
I call them the Peanut Tillman team because they got that down to a science of causing fumbles, punching the ball out.
I
forgot who they played a couple weeks ago. 5 of them, one game. I mean, to do that.
And I told you guys, I told all my friends, the next several years, this NIL thing, Texas Tech will be a perennial top 10 program.
they
have
sure
money
might.
behind their program. They got a lot of money.
Yeah, they got a lot of money, Texas Tech.
I'm actually thinking about taking
Texas Tech,
Baylor.
I'm just telling you, they're going to be a perennial top 10 program.
So do you want BYU or TCU?
I mean, TCU. I'm thinking about taking TCU.
They're getting 3 and a hook. They're on the road in BYU. I'll take the home team. I think some of those teams.
I'll take BYU. They're at home and they have to win. I'll take BYU.
I'll take BYU to bounce back.
That's the big thing. It's not a big number.
No, it's not a big number.
Yeah, I'm gonna go there too.
To TCU. You going to BYU or?
Yeah, I'm gonna go BYU. I'll go ahead and go with them.
Yeah, I have no idea how I'm going to do. Yeah. Oh, if you want to know, last week,
I was going to ask you that.
I should stick to college because boy, I am bad in the NFL. I'm horrendous. Last week. Oh. You were 3-6, Irish Mike. Dave, you were 2-7, and I was 5-4.
Okay. Wow. See?
But I in the NFL was 2-12. Dave Clark was 6-8. But I should stick to college and bag the NFL because I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing on the NFL. And I only get lucky at college because this game, believe me, when I go to the NFL. These games are so much luck. Like the Giants, we took the Bears. It was 4 and a hook. We lost. They only won by 4 points.
Yeah.
We lost by a hook.
That's why I hate
the game on Sunday morning game, 6.5. We lost by half a hook because the Colts won in overtime by 6 points. We lost by the hook.
Yep.
I mean, but that's when I do this and we do this thing, I don't bet any money because I think I would have a problem, so that's why I don't bet. But I see this, and I know I don't want to bet because, don't tell me there's no skill here, people. It's luck.
But you know what? You should bet because all you got to do is take your picks and do that, and you have millions.
George. I'll be George. I'll be the George Costanza of betting.
I should do it too.
I'm the opposite.
I should do it.
I could sit there and argue who's going to win and then say, okay, write it down and say, cross it out and put the other team down.
Yeah. This is bad, man.
That's funny.
That's tough. I mean, but these college games today are going to be unbelievable.
Oh, yes,
this might be the best overall slate of games, college and pro in one weekend.
Yeah, starting from noon tonight.
25 years. This is what you've always talked about. She said this is the day you sit in front of the TV all day. These are the matchups you want to see as a fan, correct?
Oh yeah.
And you know what's where you might have a 3:30 game only, just one game, but I'm talking about you have a good game all night and during the day, but you got 2 and 3 at the same time playing. You got to have multiple, multiple TVs, or you got to have that split screen where you can go ahead and watch them. There's something.
You got Notre Dame today at Pitt. How do you not watch that? And then the 3:30 game, Oklahoma, Alabama.
Is they both at 3:30?
No. Notre Dame Pitt's at noon. ABC's got this thing lined up. And this is the thing. It gets back to that the TV dispute. You know they had to get this thing settled because there would be probably riots in the street. Notre Dame at Pitt at noon. Guess what? You don't get that game. Oklahoma, Alabama, you don't get that game. Oh, and by the way, Texas at Georgia at 7:30, you don't get that game either.
Yeah,
if they didn't have this thing settled, people would be going absolutely out of their minds because you would not be getting any of these games.
Yeah, it'll be some problems, definitely.
I mean, it's ABC. You're going to be in front of your TV today at ABC starting at noon, and you're not getting the hell up. I mean, outside at feed yourself and use the facilities. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. Correct.
I mean, and then there's this other game sprinkled in. And I know we're going to watch Ohio State, but I'm going to have the Texas Georgia game on my tablet.
Yeah.
I'll watch that.
The college football fan will, if you're a Ohio State fan, you're going to watch Ohio State naturally because everyone watches their team, and that's natural, or if you're an alumni around the country. But most of the common college football fan will watch Texas versus Georgia before UCLA versus Ohio State.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's the thing. Bottom line
it's
is
going to be much more of a competitive match. I mean, UCLA 3-6, and they fired their coach a month and a half ago.
And they don't have their starting quarterback.
Yeah, correct.
Not that it would matter.
No chance either way, but at least he gives you, he's
a
big time player that can make some plays and potentially keep in the game. With him not playing, I mean, it could be like 56-10.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's the question. Irish Mike, do you know why Tate didn't play last week for Ohio State? Does anybody know why he didn't?
I did not hear anything.
I didn't hear nothing about he was injured either, but he did.
He looked like a healthy scratch.
Right.
I don't know if he got suspended and they just didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It got to be. He too good to just, he's not playing. He either injured or he's got some discipline situation.
Maybe the discipline. Or maybe he's got like a tight hamstring.
That's what I'm saying, an injury or sickness, an illness, anything.
Well, because they were talking a little bit. I think it was Peter Schrager was on. He was on the Brady Quinn show and Jonas and LeVar Arrington's show, the two pros, the Cup of Joe. And he said Ohio State played that game like a scrimmage, that Purdue game. Like the way they just went through it, I guess the way they played it and approached it, they didn't want to get people like Hurdy is kind of like how they approached it. Because
health is a big thing, guys. Health is a huge thing.
Right. And I think, and I don't blame him. I mean, he's looking ahead here.
Yeah.
And he wanted to gauge it. I guess he didn't want to, maybe one reason why he didn't play Tate, I'm thinking maybe because he had a tight hamstring or like something mild. And he goes, I'm not letting him out there because I don't want him, because he's a stud. He and Jeremiah Smith are maybe the two best in college football, and they're on the same team. And maybe he just
went to College Football Network, and the announcer for Georgia was on there saying, a lot of the Georgia players want to play in the SEC title game the first week in December. He goes, I don't know why. If they just went out and Alabama wins out and it'll be Alabama versus Texas A&M, and Georgia's still going to get in.
Right.
So he said, there's no reason to play an SEC title game. You just get another week of health and rest.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Think about that. That's where we're at now.
Well, no, it's true, and it's the same thing in the Big Ten. If Indiana and Ohio State went out,
you take on another game and guys potentially get hurt.
Right. Mm-hmm. Why do you want to? I mean, again, you don't need that game at all.
No.
Yep.
Hey, hold on, Irish Mike. We have overtime, and Irish Mike will finish up. Then we'll get to that NFL pick staple.
All righty.
More pain and agony. Saturday Morning Sports Page back after this.
The stations that are always ahead of the game. Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast. Youngstown, Ohio.
Are you ready to join the legacy? This is your chance to become part of something special with the Youngstown Patricians. Honoring the proud football tradition of the Valley, we're on the lookout for talented post-high school athletes who want to make their mark on the field. Whether you're a seasoned high school athlete, college, or former professional player, develop your skills and become part of a team that values hard work, dedication, and community spirit. Don't wait. Begin your path to the gridiron by visiting youngstownpat.com or contacting us on Facebook at the Youngstown Patricians. Be bold, be legendary, join the Youngstown Patricians today.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear. Because for years, he's only said,
Only you can prevent wildfires.
but there's a lot more to say. Like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Saturday morning sports page coming back at you. Dave Clark, Palucci. Got Irish Mike. The Irish Mike, we found out about Tate. He had a tight hamstring, or a tight, what was it, Dave?
They said it felt it through his knee and his in his
calf.
Calf area. And a little twinge in the hamstring too, all on the same leg. Just a twinge, not like a, hey, but he could feel it when he make his cuts. And they said, Coach just said, just hold him out.
No, hold him out.
There's too much tightness. So just wait, stretch him out real good. He should be fine for this week.
Yeah, when they play home UCLA tonight.
Yeah. And I approached that game the same way.
I wouldn't
I let
blame
him play, maybe you don't want him to be sitting 2 weeks in a row, but
I would get him out there, get him some touches, and then maybe
once you have 21-0, just go ahead and have
I would sit him down because you're going to want him. Obviously, got Rutgers next week, and then Michigan.
Yeah, just set him out all the way until Michigan. they'll be Rutgers 63-0.
Yeah, they're going to boat race.
I'm looking at Texas. Texas they have to probably win 2 of 3 big games.
They're going to have to.
They got Georgia, Arkansas, and Texas A&M. They got to win at least 2 of those.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to. Yeah, who do they got? Georgia, Arkansas,
and then A&M.
A&M. That'll be a war.
One thing about Arkansas, guys, they struggled this year, but they could score.
They can score.
Anytime you play somebody who can score, you say, well, we don't put up 30 points, we ain't beating these guys.
Yeah, because just wonder if they just happen to play pretty decent defense. They've been consistent scoring all the time. So, that's a team you can't walk in the stadium and think you just got a W.
You can't assume it.
Yep.
You can't assume that with Arkansas.
That's right.
Got to be a dangerous team. And that's the SEC. See, the SEC, it makes into the argument top to bottom. That's where they're so good, is you have those teams that are on the lower end and they can beat you.
Yep.
Where you don't look at, again, like the game like last night's game.
Who was it?
It was
Iowa.
Oregon.
In Minnesota.
Minnesota had no chance. They're out in Oregon. They had no chance. Oregon was just cruising that whole game. Where the SEC, if it was like an Arkansas playing, you can't count them out.
Right.
Minnesota, you can count out.
That's my argument, Pat. Arkansas's had a down year and they fired their coach 6 weeks ago, Sam Pittman. But my argument as a Notre Dame fan is, people say, oh, Arkansas is terrible, look at their record. Well, go down and look who they played. And look at some of the scores that they played in the SEC, and then look at the Notre Dame-Arkansas game when they played down in Fayetteville at the end of September. Notre Dame beat them like 4 or 5 touchdowns going away.
Yeah.
The coach got fired the next day.
Right.
Yep.
But they played 4 or 5 SEC opponents really tough to the very end of the gun. Now, they lost. I get a loss is a loss. See, that's where Feinbaum wants to change the narrative all the time.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to look at that stuff.
He'd put Arkansas in.
Notre Dame blew Arkansas off the field where other SEC schools struggled with them for 3.5, 4 quarters.
Right.
Yes, they ultimately won.
Right.
But they were in dogfights the whole game.
The whole game. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Feinbaum would have Arkansas in if he could, because he would use the argument.
He changes the narrative all the time.
Yeah.
In favor of this. Like Texas can lose and he tell you they're one of the top 5 teams. Well,
right.
They have 3 losses. Well, that doesn't matter. Well, Okay.
Yep.
Well, you know what? Maybe what they'll do is on Monday night when Dallas Cowboys play the Raiders, Paul Feinbaum will come on and tell us that Dallas is still could be a playoff team in the NFL.
Who was the hot button team last week at this time? Me, you, and Dave were talking. And the answer is, Pat Lucia, the Louisville Cardinals.
Yeah,
they
got
beat Miami down in Miami a month ago.
Yeah.
And they're 7-1-8-1. Why are they ranked 15th? Well, what did they do in the last 6 days? Last Saturday, they lose at home to Cal in overtime.
Yeah.
Who was about to fire their coach. And then last night, they lose at home to Clemson.
And
In
maybe
6 days, they lose
And
2
you
home games.
look at all
Cal
those
and Clemson.
mistakes they were
They
making.
go from 1 loss to the Darlings, now 3 losses, and you have no shot to get in. You're not even a top 25 program anymore.
done.
Missing all those
Right?
field goals, all makeable,
Yeah.
all kind of dumb mistakes at the end.
Yeah, at the
15-yard
And,
penalty. Oh,
and
my
Dave,
God.
Clemson made mistake after mistake
Yeah.
after mistake trying to get in.
I
And
know.
he said
I
it.
know.
Dabo said it, too.
You know, Dabo
Here,
might want to start looking
He
around.
said it. He said, hey, we were over
maybe
here
it's time
just
to move on and look for one of these other jobs that's available.
Yeah. He's
He's
trying
been
to.
there a long time, great program, won a couple natties,
Yeah.
but their talent level is not that good.
No, he's
compared to
not.
where they were 4, 5, 6 years ago.
No, they were
No.
supposed to be a top 4 team. Remember coming into this season?
Well, it's going off for reputation.
Clemson, Penn State, Texas. Now, Texas at least has come back. But Clemson and Penn State are terrible. They're not good.
No.
I mean, Penn State's not a good team. I mean, they're not. I mean, I watched them against Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State could have destroyed them, and they kind of took them, they went easy on them. And then Penn State, granted, they played real good against Indiana, but Indiana.
The guy made a phenomenal catch in the last 40 seconds to win the game.
To win the game.
But that's how you win. Indiana, they continue to play their type of football
and win
and pull it out.
And pull it out at the end.
Because you're going to have games where you just don't play up to your capabilities.
And here's where our Urban Meyers said, I'm so glad the committee did not drop Indiana from 2 to 3 behind Texas A&M because they won the game ultimately against Penn State. Even though Penn State, he said they still got a lot of talent on the team. I know they're 0-6 in the Big Ten, yada, yada, yada. But here's my I go back to when the original poll came out. Texas A&M should have been ahead of Indiana. Indiana's non-conference schedule is a complete joke.
It is.
The coach talked about it openly in his press conference.
Yeah.
How we're not going to schedule them in the league and non-league competition. So, they got to be penalized somewhere sometime. You mean? I thought Texas A&M would jump. I thought they should have been ahead of Indiana in the first place, going at the first poll that was released November 4th. And then they go into Happy Valley and struggle and win the last 40 seconds. And for Urban Meyer said, I'm so glad the committee didn't jump them. I'm like, what are you talking about, Urban?
Yeah, I know.
Do you even pay attention to what's going on?
I know. I agree with you. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because these teams are all getting in. And sometimes these ratings, I mean, I get you get the ratings for seeding purposes, and I get all that. But I guess the other thing is you're getting into also you're opening up the discussion, these conference championships, like in the SEC and Big Ten, those conference championship games really don't mean anything. Like really?
I mean, I know you always said they would never go away because of the money factor.
Yeah, they won't.
I think in the next 3 or 4 years they are going to go away because people are going to say, okay, if you're like a Georgia Tech,
yeah,
you have 1 loss right now. Let's suppose you lose to Georgia, and you got to take on that second loss, and you go play in the SEC title game, and you get beat again. Now it's the 3rd loss. Automatically, people think, "Oh, you're eliminated. That's the 3rd loss." And you say, "Well, we just played in the conference championship game. We had to play 1 more game than everybody else."
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
Because SMU got in last year, correct? They lost in the SEC or ACC title game.
Yeah, and they
got
got in.
Penn State and Happy Valley in the first round.
Right.
And people said, well, that was the title game. They were in their conference championship game. So.
And they picked them over Alabama. Correct. And now they put Alabama out, and then SMU goes up there and plays like it was cold and windy, and I remember
like
it.
Didn't want to be there.
Yeah, and you could tell.
Was extremely disappointing performance.
Right.
From SMU. I agree with that.
And so then people are saying, well, at least if Alabama went up there, they wouldn't have played like that. You would have had a better game. But SMU takes it, they get in the playoffs and they show up. They don't even want to play that game. It's like, well, then why did you put them in? And it's a terrible game. And if they would have put Alabama in, Alabama would have played them anyway. They would have gone up and competed. They might even beat Penn State. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it would have been a better game.
Yeah.
I mean, reporters, national media people, everyone has their biases. They like certain programs more than others, and it's understandable. But I also think people root for the game more than anything. Like, I didn't really care who won the Indiana-Penn State game. I mean, I guess I was rooting for Penn State because, like in March Madness in basketball, we root for the upset. And I actually wanted Indiana to win for that interim head coach Terry Smith, who's done a pretty good job, say he did more in 3 weeks than James Franklin did in 12 years. He actually beat a top 5 team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it would have helped.
It was always the bugaboo on James Franklin. It's always the bugaboo of Brian Kelly.
I think it's still on him because I thought he had this team ready to play against Indiana. They came to play.
They came to play.
And the question I have for you, gentlemen, is this: a lot of these programs fired their coaches 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, and granted, we're at November 15th.
Yeah.
Now, National Signing Day for high school kids is December 3rd, which is 3 weeks away. 8, 19, 23 days away. So a lot of these programs only have interim head coaches.
Yeah.
How are you selling your program to kids? They don't even know what the head coach is going to. Now, they can sign Lucia, and if they name a head coach December 17th,
they can change.
They can ask out of their scholarship and say, I don't fit here anymore.
Right.
I mean, so, and they have to let him out now. Like, you can't hold him to it and say, like, you have to stay. We're not going to let you go because I didn't know who the head coach was going to be.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Are we firing guys so we get in line to get the person we want?
Yeah, I mean,
if you want Lane Kiffin, his team's the top 5 team. He's talking to you through his agent, but he's not talking to you directly.
No.
He's not going to leave right now.
No.
I mean, these timelines are all screwed up. I think we agree with that. But I don't know how we eliminated the spring portal window. You have one portal window open from January 2nd to January 16th now. So,
which you got to have you better have your head coaches,
more difficult, challenging task.
Yeah, you got to have the head coach in line. But and I think a lot of these teams anymore are favoring building their team through the portal and not so much recruiting. I mean, they'll recruit, but I think a lot of these teams are saying, I don't know these kids coming out of high school, how good they are, and they all want a lot of money. Yeah. Some of these guys think, I want a lot of NIL money, and the coach is now thinking they got burned. The way till they get burned, a history of getting burned a few times, they're not going to give the kid out of high school a lot of NIL money. They'll go transfer portal and go that way, and at least you got a better known entity than you got a kid coming out of high school. Because if you get the kid out of high school, you give him the money, and he's not any good. I mean, that's
Let me tell you guys, you and Dave, something here right now as a Notre Dame fan. Notre Dame right now, as we speak, has 3 starting offensive linemen in college football that played at Notre Dame last year and started at Notre Dame that are on 3 different college football programs right now as starters. One at Tennessee, one at Indiana, and one at Nebraska. And they all started at Notre Dame last year, one point or another, as offensive linemen. They went in the portal, and they're all starting at 3 major programs. And they've lost 3 offensive linemen this year due to injury.
You know who else is doing well?
Month and a half. So, the one thing Notre Dame's been able to do, for the most part, is recruit good offensive linemen and get some depth there. So you're talking about 6 different players right now that were along the offensive line last year and this year that are either playing somewhere else or injured and can't play. So
I like the portal.
You have to have a budget, guys. You have to.
In your
what we're going to see more and more of is guys who are going to be junior, senior, or 5th-year guys and say, we like you, but we're going to move on from you because we have younger guys and we have a budget. We can't give you what you think you deserve. We can give you $250,000. We can't give you $500,000.
No.
So if you want to jump in the portal, we completely understand.
Well, here's what the kids are going to be faced
with. Those are difficult conversations with older veteran guys.
But here's the deal. The kid's got to make a decision. Do I want the money or do I want to play? Because at the end of the day, if a kid's saying, look, maybe I can get only 100,000, but I'm going to play. But if I go to the other school, I might get more money, but now I don't know if I'm going to get to start. It's iffy.
Yeah.
And the kids are going to say, hey, I want to play. I want to get in there because I think if I make a name for myself, I could get to the NFL by playing. I'm not going to get the NFL by sitting on a bench. Any money I get in college is gravy. Now, granted, there's the stars that are making money, but the point is, if it's the average kid out there trying to improve his game, the focus has got to be playing, not sitting on the bench and making more money. It's because you're not making the NFL sitting on a bench. You're going to get the NFL by playing, and you're going to get people's attention and saying, I'm going to take this kid in the 5th round or 4th round because I'm watching the film on the games he's playing. He's on the bench. No one's watching. He's got nothing to show.
Right. And here's a classic example, Pat, that plays right into what you're saying. 2025 from college football. I was just telling the guys at the lunch table the other day. Notre Dame has a wide receiver named Jaden Greathouse. Between the last 2 games last year against Penn State and Ohio State, he had 12 or 13 catches and 3 touchdowns. He had caught the big touchdown pass against Penn State in the 4th quarter and then caught 2 touchdown passes against Ohio State in the national title game. Comes back. Now they bring 2 receivers in, one from Virginia, one from Wisconsin through the portal. And they play 4 games. And after the Arkansas game, he only has 3 catches in 4 games because the other guys are catching passes, okay? He sits down with Marcus Freeman. He's not happy about the number of catches he's getting, not happy about playing time, et cetera, et cetera. And here's a guy who's a junior, has been in your program 2 years and been successful. Well, he has not played since the Arkansas game on September 28th. And, they said bad hamstring. The last 3 games he's warmed up. He's warming up at Pitt right now in full uniform.
Right.
And then when they go back in the locker room, he'll change back into street clothes and the uniform and stand in the street clothes and cheer on his teammates. Now, I've talked to my friend. Now, when the playoffs come, if Notre Dame's forced him to make the playoffs in December and January, he can play in all those playoff games and not lose any eligibility. The NCAA rule right now says you have 4 games or less not to use eligibility. And he does not want to lose that eligibility. He wants 2 more years of college football because he wants to play in the NFL. So that means 26 and 27, he can still play,
right,
whether it be at Notre Dame or anywhere else. And I've asked all my friends, is he coming back to play Notre Dame next year? And he said the coaches think so, but they're not 100% certain. But he can play in the playoffs this year. He can still play and not lose any eligibility.
And he won't lose any eligibility.
And he sat out probably, he's been, they always say he's got a bad hamstring. That's what they said the last 4 or 5 weeks. But he warms up. Everyone's seen him warm up with helmet, shoulder pads, doing pass routes. And then when they go back in, he changes in street clothes and stands on the sidelines in street clothes. Now, my thing, Dave Clark, is if I'm Marcus Freeman or head coach, if I'm letting you stand on the sidelines, I expect you back next year. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be
if
standing out there.
If I jump in the portal, I'm not letting you stand on my sideline.
No.
Am I wrong?
No. Matter of fact, if you're not going to do that, you might as well just go ahead up in the stands and watch the game.
And exactly.
Yeah.
No.
So he probably would come back. But the portal is great, especially for divisions like I was telling Pat. The MAC, how many players you've seen come from the MAC go to big-time programs, and it actually boosts their opportunity to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
And they perform well at the higher level.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they get their name in that MAC or whatever it may be, get up there and ready to go.
Yeah,
they use the stepping
That's
stone.
what I'm saying, Pat, what you said about playing time. He wants to go to the NFL, and he wants to put numbers up and film up so the NFL guys see him, and he can make some money on Sundays. This is what this is about. Like, Ohio State's got some great receivers. They're number 5, 6, 7, 8 on the roster. They're heavily recruited, could have gone anywhere, and they've been on the Ohio State bench for the last couple of years.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, at some point in time, Cardinal Tate had a breakout year this year, but his first 2 years, he was just okay, right?
Right.
Maybe they're saying if I just wait another year, my time will come in 26 or 27, and maybe that's the mentality.
Maybe that's what they're figuring.
I thought he started to show himself last year.
You got to be on the field and you got to be playing.
Yeah. I started to see the talent with Tate last season.
Yeah.
I can see it. You can just see it.
He's going to be a first-round pick.
Correct.
Yeah, he's first-rounder, and so's the other guy, Smith.
Hey, guys, I got to get running with my Saturday, but it's always great talking to you two gentlemen. I'll give you a call back next week.
Good deal. Thanks, Irish
Take care,
Mike.
guys. Thank you, sir.
All right, get those
Great weekend,
leaves.
guys. Take care. Thank you.
All righty, bye-bye. Get those leaves picked up, Irish Mike. Let's go to the NFL, Dave Clark. Let's start our picks. I don't kind of beat the dead horse, but I was 2-12 last week. You were 6-8. You were somewhat respectable, but I was I'm going to make sure I keep quoting the New York Giants, 1964. Let's see. Oh no, I was wrong. The New York Giants in 1964. Shame on me. They were 2-10-2.
2-10-2.
They were 2-10-2. I my bad.
Wow.
I wasn't even as good as the New York Giants from '64, who were 2-10-2. I was 2-12. I was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, they were 0-14. So
yeah, I remember that.
I thought I was going to be 0-14 for a while. It's great. Let's go to the 9 o'clock game or the 9:30 game on NFL Network. They're playing it in Madrid, Spain, and it is Washington playing the Dolphins, and Washington gets -2.5. And obviously, there's no the quarterback for Washington is
be Mariota instead of Daniels.
It'll be Daniels is not, but they were saying he didn't need surgery.
No, they thought he was. They said he could just get rest for a couple more weeks.
So he may be back this year.
Yep.
But it'll be Marcus Mariota in Madrid, Spain, taking on the Dolphins, and actually the Finns are -2.5 point favorites. So Washington's getting -2.5, and it's both teams are 3-7. I didn't know Washington. Yeah, I guess they really have fallen off.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, What say you, Dave Clark?
Yeah, oh, that's a tough one.
I never know what to do, but I am taking Miami.
Yeah, they getting 2 in a hook.
No, they're laying 2 in a hook.
Oh, they laying 2.
Washington gets 2 in a hook.
And this game is in
Madrid, Spain.
It's 9:30 in the morning.
Yep,
again, huh?
That's it.
Oh man, Can the Dolphins play 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah, that's a problem.
I believe.
Yeah,
they
but
can do
here's
that.
the deal.
I think they can.
Washington lost last week to the Lions. That's the game I got right, 44-22. The Buffalo Bills Miami just absolutely took Buffalo out to the woodshed.
Yeah.
3-7.
They did.
I don't know. I'm going to go on the premise that I think Miami's turned their season around.
Yeah,
and I don't know if I'm probably wrong. And I almost now want to write Washington since I'm going. I'm
going Washington.
Yeah.
I am going to go Washington. They're getting 2 in the hook,
Yeah,
right?
they're getting 2 in the hook, which actually could come down to that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because these games overseas, you just don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
Let's go to the next one. Panthers at the Falcons. And the Falcons are basically laying 3 in a hook. So the Panthers are on the road. They lost last week to the Saints 17-7 at home. I don't know why. I got that one wrong. And then the Falcons got beat by the Colts overseas. So the Falcons are coming back from overseas. They lost last week to the Colts 31-25.
Yeah, I watched some of that one.
Yeah,
that wasn't bad. I thought they was going to win that game.
Me too.
Atlanta was going to get it.
I thought Atlanta was going to win it. So they're back home in the confines of Atlanta, Georgia, at the Mercedes-Benz Dome, and Panthers coming off a really crappy performance.
Yeah.
I mean, they got beat by the Saints 17-7.
That's not good.
No, that's not good. They were 5-4 going into last week's game.
Wow.
They had a winning record, the Panthers, and they dumped that game last week to the Saints. Yeah. Now they're on the road, and the Falcons are 3-6.
And I think they're better than that.
I do too. I always thought that's what I can't figure this season out.
I don't understand it. I mean, and who's getting the points again? Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina gets 3 in a hook, and it could come down to that. I guess.
I know. I actually think it is going to come down to that, but. I'm going to. I want to say I want to go with Atlanta.
Yeah, part of me is you know what? I'm going to take the Falcons at home.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm basing the premise on. Is Penix playing? I think he's playing.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to look.
I'm looking at it here. Okay. Penix did he practice this week? Yeah, here it is.
Looks like he's okay.
Is he okay?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to. Falcons updated injury report. I don't even see him on it.
Okay.
Anymore. That's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, I know he was. He was questionable for one game. He didn't play. And that's the game they got destroyed.
I guess he'll be okay. I'm gonna go with. Wow, this is a hard one, but I'm gonna go with the home team. I'll go with the Falcons.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't sound confident because I'm not.
No, the Falcons are a hard team to pick because you just don't know what. Boy, they're the ultimate question here. And they got some injuries. Jake Matthews tackles limited, but that doesn't mean anything. Okay, let's move on to the Buccaneers at the Bills.
Oof.
And it's 5.5. Buccaneers get 5.5. They got beat last week by the Patriots 28-23. And then we know what happened to Buffalo, 30-13. They went down to Miami and I don't know if you want to say they didn't show up. It was the heat. I don't know what excuse Buffalo
they don't
used. They were never in the game.
Yeah.
And they were dominated by the Miami Dolphins. Might give McDaniel his job.
Yep.
Uh,
I'm gonna have to go. Everything tells me that Buffalo should bounce back, but the thing that makes me leery is two people, Todd Bowles and Baker Mayfield.
I know.
Two guys that always get, you're not that good. And yeah, you're a pretty good coach. And yes, you are a pretty good quarterback. They may not let that go. And how many points?
5.5. Baker has struggled the last few weeks. He has not played well.
I know.
He did not play well last week at all against the Patriots. Then I think the week before against the Lions, he played bad because he struggled. He has not played well at all. And I don't know if he's hurt, if it's anything like that.
Yeah, I'm looking up stuff now to see.
And I don't, again, I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Bills on a bounce back.
Yeah, I'm going to take them. Dalton Kincaid is still out. That's what I thought he was.
Even though the Bills running the defense, the rushing defense is not good.
Yeah, Ed Oliver
at
is
all.
On IR. Taylor Rapp is on IR. DeMar Hamlin is on IR. I mean, they got a lot of defensive guys on the IR.
On IR.
So, but I would just think they would bounce back. I'm just going to take Buffalo.
Take Bills. All right, let's move on to here's the next one. The Texans are at the Titans. The Titans are coming off a bye. The last time they played, they lost to the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the Texans beating the Jags last week. I believe Stroud is not playing this week.
No.
He's out with a concussion again.
Yep.
So it's the backup quarterback, Mills, and Texans lay 5.5. The Titans are the home dog getting 5.5. I don't know if they bounce back this week and do something as far as kind of wake up and win. The Texans are ripe to lose because they have the backup. And they had that game last week. They played one quarter.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's so much they beating the Jags or the Jags just kind of like giving the game away.
Yeah, no.
I don't know how you want to gauge that.
Yeah, because it was like a whole different team.
Yeah.
When I was watching that, I mean, just like right in front of my eyes. So they get how much? 7.5?
5.5.
Oh, 5.5.
Yeah, okay. Titans get 5.5.
One time it was 8 points. I seen that earlier.
It's coming down.
That means the money is going in on Tennessee.
Yeah. A lot of people buying Tennessee because they're not buying Texans with the backup quarterback.
Yeah, I know. 5 and a hook. I like the 8. 5 and a hook. Can they do it?
I'm going
to try it.
You going to take Titans?
Yeah, I'm going to try it. I am. I'm going to try it. It's.
Yeah, you know what? I was going to write the Texans down. I'm changing it to the Titans.
Yeah. I'm going to try Titans. Give them a shot.
I like the 5 and a hook and Texan rolling in there with the backup.
Yep.
All right, we got last overtime, and then we'll finish our picks on the Saturday morning sports page.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Sherman Gillums Jr., Paralyzed Veterans of America.
For more than 70 years, Paralyzed Veterans of America has helped hundreds of thousands of veterans get all the benefits they have earned.
Al Kovac Jr., Paralyzed Veterans of America.
We provide one-on-one support tailored to your individual needs, including healthcare advocacy, benefits support, and career assistance.
For more information, call 1-800-424-8200 or visit pva.org. A public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
That's a division game, too.
Yeah, division game. Saturday Morning Sports Page back. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark, getting to our NFL picks, finish up the picks. Bears at the Vikings, Dave Clark, -2.5. So the Bears get -2.5 on the road in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with the Vikes.
Yeah, I got to go Vikings too.
Yep.
I'll take them at home. Vikings, bad loss to the Ravens last week. At home, too. Mm-hmm. Ravens came in and handled them pretty good.
Yeah, they did.
God, I got a bad feeling that the Bears are going to do it to him, but I'll take
They are getting Johnson got that offense rolling, though.
But he does. The Bears are playing good.
Yep, they are offensively really playing good.
Let's go to the Packers at the Giants. It's now the Jameis Winston show. And actually, they're getting 6.5 points. So the Giants get 6.5 points at home. The Packers lost to the Monday Nighter, the Eagles, 10-7. Again, people freak out because Jordan Love drives everybody crazy because he's just not consistent.
Right.
I mean, he looks great against the Steelers, and they just light up the Steelers. And then the next week, it's like against the Eagles, it's just like he looks dazed and confused.
I know.
And I don't know what, looks great. And then he could and that's what drives, I think the problem this year is the lack of consistency with these teams. It's like someone brought this up. The teams can't put 2 weeks together. Like, it's just like when you think they look so good one week, then they go out the next week. It's like Green Bay is a classic example of that. Mm-hmm. They look so good against the Steelers, and then like they show up and they get beat by the Eagles. But then like if you take they got beat by the Panthers at home.
Right before. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
So like Green Bay drives everybody crazy because they roll into this game 5-3-1. The Giants are 2-8. They have absolutely nothing to play for. And I think they're just going to go out there and be loose. And
that's why I'm taking them, too. I'm taking them. They're getting how much?
6.5.
I'm taking them because of that.
Yeah.
One thing Slade made a fantastic catch against the Bears.
Yeah.
And I think he got to get ready to catch the ball a lot this week because with Winston, he's going down the field.
Well, this is what I'm going to think. This is where I'm headed here. I'm taking the Giants because you got a new coach, a new voice, a new quarterback. Winston, I think if Kafka can keep Winston from throwing the ball to the other team, he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, no.
And he's better than Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson is just spent. He's done. It's just over.
Well, what you call this puts energy into a team.
Yeah, Jameis Winston does. Team,
I mean,
the players, the locker room, they all talk about Jameis Winston. They like him. He's like a cheerleader, and he's going around all the players, the defense. He's getting around everybody.
Look how he did the Browns. The Browns when they played the Pittsburgh Steelers, they beat him in that snowstorm.
They beat him in that snow.
And then another great game they lost, but it was that back and forth against the Denver Broncos. If people remember, I think that was Monday Night Football too. Back and forth. I mean, he'd throw an interception, a pick six, and you'd be like, "Oh, his confidence is done." Nope, got the ball back, right down the field, touchdown. I mean, it's not. You don't scare me. I don't care if you took the ball. You intercepted, got an interception. I'm coming right back.
He doesn't hesitate.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have any lack of confidence at any time. That's the one thing. I wish he just didn't throw interceptions because he'd be a top flight quarterback.
Top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, there's no question about it.
You remember, he's the only quarterback, I believe, in history ever to throw for 30 interceptions and 30 touchdowns in a year. No one's ever done that.
I know. I know. And you always had a chance to win with him because he is not going to be afraid to take it down the field.
Someone said he won't blow the team out, but he won't he's both ends. He'll keep the other team in it though.
Yeah.
But he'll win. He can win any team, anytime, any place. He can win regardless of how good the team he's playing is. If he gets on the roll, all out, man.
Yeah.
And then the other end, he could take a team you're playing that's terrible, and he can't.
And I could think he could play for a while because the arm strength.
Oh, he's got the gun.
There. He could just still throw the ball all over the field. I'm taking the Giants.
I'm taking the Giants on the heck.
And I want them to win.
I want them to win.
I want them to win because and I hope that, I know he might move around again, but they should try to hold on to him as a part of their, Dar to be the starter and allow him to be their backup.
If they end up beating the Packers and they win a couple more games, and if this coach can get them to 6 wins, he's in. I personally think if Kafka can get to 6 with that schedule, if Mike Kafka can get to 6 or 7 wins,
he's
he's got the job.
You got to give it to him.
You got to give it to him, and then because you're going to keep him and Dart in. He's working with Dart so closely. You won't upset the apple cart, and I think he might end up getting the job.
Yeah, and I definitely would re-sign.
I'm a Giant
Jameis
fan,
Winston.
and if he does that, I think you'd do it. Give it a shot.
I mean, I wouldn't wait and try to get a young guy that I don't know about. I would get Winston to be.
Yeah, I would keep him in
because he's a guy that doesn't even care. He's a team guy.
Yeah,
he doesn't complain,
and he's not screaming about money and nothing.
Nothing. He just be there.
He's gonna be
support
there.
Whoever the quarterback is, and then when they say, "Hey, you got to get in there," I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. And he'll talk to the defense.
Everybody.
Those guys, he's talking to them. Clapping the hands. He's getting everybody. He's like a cheerleader coach, but he's a great guy, and everybody loves the guy.
They say everywhere he's been. So
everywhere.
So
keep him, and maybe Kafka gets the job if they do well. Let's go to the Steelers. This is another team I can't figure. And they're the Bengals. So the Bengals are coming off the bye. Bengals at the Steelers. Bengals get 5.5. Bengals, like I said, they came off a bye. They lost the last time the Bengals were on the field. They handed the game to the Chicago Bears 47-42. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers are coming off a 25-10, almost 25-3. Give them the 7, the garbage time touchdown. Offensively, they look terrible. People want Tomlin out. The Steeler fans just want to get a new coach, a new direction. There's talk about the Giants getting Tomlin in a trade. I don't think that's going to happen. But getting back to the game, Steelers laying 5.5 to the Bengals, and that's tomorrow at 1:00 on CBS. Bengals 5.5. They can't stop anybody.
No.
Now, is this the weekend?
Tomlin, he played. I mean, not Tomlin. Okay, Joe Burrow's not. We ain't worried about him, but I'm talking about Flacco. He's okay to play.
Yeah,
I think, right?
Flacco, I believe is. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, because I know that with the shoulder and stuff. Okay,
yeah, he's always.
I'm taking the Bengals. This 5 and a hook.
Yeah, 5 and a hook. The Bengals get 5 and a hook in Pittsburgh. Your question's going to be now, Alex Highsmith has a pectoral. He didn't participate. The linebacker looks like he's out. And Holcomb, the other linebacker's illness, he did not participate in practice.
Yeah, he's out too.
And the guard is out. Isaac Samalo is out. Pectoral, he didn't. And Darius Slay had limited. He had a concussion, but he was limited in practice.
He's out too.
And he's out.
Yep. I'm taking the Bengals. Even though the last time had a big game, Rodgers, who was it against? The Cincinnati Bengals. He threw for 4 touchdowns, over 300 and something yards.
Defense is terrible.
And he's been shaky a little bit these last couple weeks, just like in a fog. This is probably going to get him out of the fog.
Oh, yeah, the Bengals, right.
This will get him out of. This is what's so scary. I want the Bengals because they can put points on the board, but they give up so much.
That's it.
This is a hard one to pick.
The question is going to be is the Bengals. See, I'm leaning a little bit toward the Bengals.
Yeah, and it's Flacco.
Just basically because I think the Bengals have the offense to keep it relatively close. I think Pittsburgh wins, but I think they win by a field goal.
Yeah, it might be something like that. I'm taking it. What is it? The amount of points?
Yeah, 5 and a hook.
Yeah, I'm going to try it.
Bengals get 5 and a hook.
I'm going to try the Bengals at 5. That's rough to take the Bengals. To say I'm taking this and people hear this, yeah, it sounds like I'm crazy with that defense, but I'm going to try it.
Yeah, I'll take Bengals too. I might be wrong. I've been, again, let's move to the Bolts. This is another one I can't. The Bolts are at the Jags. The Bolts come off a big win over Pittsburgh, 25-10, dominated Pittsburgh pretty much. And the Jags just basically handed that game back to the Texans.
I don't know.
I don't know. They're getting, the Jags get 2 and a hook at home dog. So you got a home dog, the Jags, who basically, again, just handed the game, gift wrapped the game to the Texans. We talked about it earlier. The defense just basically, I don't know what happened. I don't want to say, did the defense quit or they just get tired because the offense just didn't do anything with the ball and the Texans caught fire?
Right. I'm going to go with
I don't know. The Bolts are coming east.
Yeah.
They got the hour change and they came off a big win.
Yeah,
do the Jags snap back?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. They get how many?
The Jags get 2.5 at home.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the home dog, and I'm gonna represent Bob Gessler and his dogs. Even though his dog's not here, I'm gonna take the home dog.
I'll go the other way. I'll try the Bolts. I think the Jags might be done, and I think the Bolts will come. And I don't like it because I don't think they do coming east. They lost to the Giants coming east.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be...
It's time for them to lock in, though, because they got a good football team.
They got a good team. Let's go to this is the 4:05 game. You see, they can't flex yet.
No, that's it.
But people were talking about this. Like, you got the Cowboys at the Raiders at Monday night, and now you got the Seahawks at the Rams, and people were saying, why can't they flex the Seahawks and Rams and put them on Monday night and stick the Cowboys at the Raiders at 4:05 on Sunday, which is where they should be, because the Raiders are horrible. Dallas, I know they got a new defense. They get all these guys in.
Oh, yeah, they got a lot of guys.
So they got the defense beefed up. I don't know where it's taking you. We'll get to that game. But people are saying it's too bad they couldn't flex the Seahawks and Rams on Monday night.
Yeah.
And they're right.
Even though those teams might be happy that they're not, because, something about playing Monday night, big game, and then got to play the following week. You don't really like that, especially the following week you're on the road, the team that might be on the road twice. Oh, that's really no good. So
Seahawks are at the Rams, 4:05 on Fox. So I'll have my YouTube split screen up for this week.
Seahawks.
And the Seahawks get 3.5.
Ooh.
On the road and these teams are both playing good. The 49ers, Rams handled the 49ers 42-16 in a blowout, and the Seahawks blew out the Cardinals 44-22.
Yep.
And you got Darnold going with Darnold, and this is going to be one wild game.
Yeah. 3 and a hook.
3 and a hook. Seahawks get 3 and a hook.
I'm gonna take the Seahawks.
Me too.
On the road and take the 3 and a hook.
I think it's a field goal game.
Yep.
Let's go to the 49ers at the Cardinals. Boy, I was wrong last week against the Cardinals. I thought they would go to Seattle and keep it close. Boy, I was wrong.
Yeah.
44.
Seattle's shown they're a very good team.
40. This is so funny because the Rams are coming off. The 49ers come off a brutal loss by the Rams. Just talked about it. And the Cardinals got boat raced by the Seahawks. They're at home getting 3.5. Yeah. And the 49ers, Brock Purdy will be back.
Yep. I'm taking San Fran.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just taking them.
No, I'll take the 49ers.
Yeah.
Take my chances.
Yeah.
Although the Cardinals might keep it close. They have been keeping all their games close until the one game last week. Then they got blown out.
And they probably use the tight end even more just with Harrison being out. They might even use him even more. So
let's go to the Ravens at the Browns. Man, 7.5. The Ravens lay 7.5. So the Browns are the home dog. Where's Gessler's dogs when we need them?
7.5?
Right. The Browns get 7.5 points. The Wild Dogs are not here today. We need them. Ravens are at the Browns, and the Browns get 7 and a hook. Ravens won last week. They beat the Vikings 27-19. And the Browns outplayed the Jets, but special teams killed them, and they lost 27-20, really on a game they really should have won. But
I mean, this is a game I think is set up for the Browns to win now, maybe pull off an upset.
Outright.
But the Ravens,
they need the game.
The Ravens seem focused. The defense is getting better.
And they're getting better.
They're getting better.
And they need this game.
Oh, they can't lose. They have to just take one game at a time and win them.
They do. That's the thing. The Ravens need to win.
I'm taking the Ravens. I talked myself into it. There's a lot of points, 7 and a hook. But I don't know what type will Gabriel be really good this week and throw for big yardage, go down the field. They're saying they're going to do all that. But when I seen him go down the field last week and score that touchdown, that was all Judy. That ball was fluttering out there like a duck. It could have been in. It was just floating in the air. It seemed like it took forever, and he had to come back to it on the ground to get it.
They need to play Shador. The Browns just need to get him in.
Yeah.
I don't care. Your season's over. You're not going anywhere. We know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. You got to get Shador in and see what you got there.
Yeah.
Gabriel's not your answer long term. Realistically, you're making a decision. You play Shador. You see what you have because you're playing for the backup because next year you're drafting a quarterback because you're going to probably be definitely in the top 5. And you're 2-7. The season's going nowhere. Get Shador in. Maybe you catch fire like the Giants did with Dart. I'm just saying, try something at this point. Sadly, you should have won last week, but you lost to the Jets.
That was brutal.
And a brutal loss. And again, 2 crappy teams. Let's go to the Broncos. The Chiefs are at the Broncos. The Broncos have some injuries.
I'm sorry.
J.K. Dobbins, Dave Clark is laughing at the Browns.
I'm laughing because you said this. Oh, they bad. I love their defense.
Who's that?
The Browns.
Yeah,
I love it.
They are.
But the offense is,
I'd
rather watch paint dry.
It's putrid. And again, I think that if you're they're talking Stefanski's getting fired anyway. So they're talking about maybe they fire the GM Stefanski. They already fired Paul DePodesta, the guy that was out in L.A. making decisions. So I think they might do the clean slate. Haslam fires everybody and starts over, which doesn't surprise. And you're going to go with a quarterback in the draft. I think you play Shador, see what you have, see who's going to be your potential backup. You got Watson back next year anyway. He's playing next year.
Well, you know what's so weird? They keep letting this thing go. Gabriel has not. I mean, he had the 2 touchdowns, but he still didn't look great of running the offense. Well, their offense is just not great. Watson could be healthy enough to play this year.
Yeah,
and if he can play this year, they may play him. And that'd be a mess if you just leave Shador on the sideline.
What are you going to do? Leave Shador there?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's insane. I don't know.
I don't know. Only the Browns.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Yeah, get off of that one real quick.
The Browns. We'll
I don't know what's going on. I just don't like them wasting all that defensive talent. That defense.
That defense is one of the best defenses in the league.
Oh, I love that defense.
I don't know, man. That's pretty brutal. Let's go to the Mile High Stadium at 425. Dave Clark.
This is big time.
This is the big time.
Because this is the prove it game. Is Denver for real to win the division and go to the playoffs? Kansas City, I know they already in playoff mode. They got to. After that last loss. They lost their last time playing, right? Before the bye. They was on a bye last week, I believe.
Yeah.
I know they're going to come back with the mindset, even though they're going to the Mile High City, they got to win. I know they got to be thinking we have to win. And so does Denver.
The Chiefs' last game was the loss to the Bills 28-21.
Mm-hmm.
And they were bye last week. Andy Reid coming off a bye. I like the Chiefs.
Yeah,
even though I'm going to lay the 3 and a hook, I'll take the Chiefs because Reid is great off a bye. The only thing the hook bothers me because I could see Kansas City winning by 3, then you don't cover it.
Right. I'm still going that way.
Yeah.
I think this is championship medal. Now, if Denver wins this game and outright wins it, then I think they're ready for the big time.
See, I think the Chiefs' back is on the wall. We talked about it,
Yeah.
but they're 5-4. There's a possibility, maybe remote, but there is a possibility Kansas City loses this game. They might get off. They may be out of the playoffs.
Oh, yeah,
this
that's right.
year.
That's what I'm saying. This is it.
This is a game I think they've got to win it, and they're coming off the bye. Reid is good coming off bye. It all makes sense. Broncos, with that logic, you should take the Chiefs, but the Broncos will probably win because of the way this game is. All right, let's go to the Sunday nighter. It's the Lions at the Eagles. And the Eagles we saw winning Monday night 10-7 over Packers. And the Lions just blew Washington away in the breeze 44-22. Big game for both teams.
Yep, it's big.
It's the Sunday nighter, 8:15. So it's one of the best games of the week. And you got, again, the question is the Eagles' offense.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I don't understand them either.
I can't. You want me to? I can't explain it to you. The defense is out there playing hard as ever. They do great out there. They can't stay out there all day. And it's not that the Eagles go 1, 2, and 3 and out. They don't really do that often. But it's so just flat as an offense. They'll be even driving, getting a little drive, then they got a punt, and then maybe a field goal. But they're not explosive.
Yeah,
they're not explosive. No. But that's weird when you got all these explosive players.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I
mean, you got AJ Brown,
and he's
Devontae
complaining
Smith,
they don't get him the ball at all.
Barkley. I mean, you just got all this stuff going, and they don't make no big. I shouldn't say that. They make big plays at times, but I'm talking about consistent.
They don't have.
It'd be like that offense make me tired too. I'd be ready to take a nap.
Yeah.
So I don't know all that out with that stuff, but this game they're giving up the points, right? The Eagles
2 and a hook at home.
I'm taking Detroit.
Sunday night hook.
The Detroit can score, and they may hold Detroit down, but if you're not scoring, you might lose that game 17-13.
I'll go Eagles.
I'm taking Detroit.
Yeah, I go either way. I think I would like to take Detroit.
I don't usually like to go against my teams, but I am this time.
Let's go Sunday night. The Monday night game is the Cowboys at the Raiders. Raiders get 3 and a hook. That's all. Boys have the defense. Reinforcements.
Yeah, I guess. You know what? It's like Cincinnati, I was going to say, and I never made this point earlier. Cincinnati's defense, when they went to the Super Bowl, there's not a lot of players that's gone from that team.
Yep.
So what is it? What's going on?
That's the point.
Trying to put round holes in square pegs? I guess that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with.
What do you want?
I got to take.
You want to lay the points?
Wait, where's this game at?
Raiders. Dallas. It's at Raiders. It's Monday night.
I'm gonna lay the point. Dallas is giving the points. Right?
Yeah, Dallas lays. No, yeah, Raiders are a home dog, getting 3.5 points.
I'm gonna go against both my teams on purpose. Yeah, I'm taking the Cowboys. I don't know why, but at least I know they offense can score.
They're coming off a bye. The last time they played was an absolute stinker of a game on Monday night against Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals. They lost 27-17. That game wasn't even that close. So bottom line is the Broncos lost Thursday night. They've been off for 10 days. They played a horrible game against the Broncos. They're just so bad.
Yeah.
I got to go with the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm going with them because they can score.
Yeah. And
I know they can score. The Raiders got players to score, but they don't. So I don't know. Their defense played very good.
Their defense played good against Denver.
In a couple games before that, but they don't put no points on the board.
But they don't put any points. And
I don't know.
And Geno Smith, I mean, he just seems to run for his life, and then he gets frustrated with that team.
The offensive line is bad, though.
The offensive line is horrible.
And I'm going to tell you something. The offensive line for the run game is bad. But you know what? I like Ashton Jennings. He's not bad, but he's
a good player.
He's a good player, but he's not that dynamic guy. No. Like, you have a Barkley or...
No, he's not that.
Or let me get another guy that I'm trying to think. I'll take this guy. Bucky Irvin.
Yeah.
For Tampa Bay. He's injured right now, but that guy can make big things happen in the backfield. Ashton Jennings is not that.
Well, I think, too...
He can break tackles, though. I will give it to him.
The problem you have with that, the line is so bad. The Las Vegas Raiders, I'll get it right.
That's blasphemy. Don't ever call them Oakland. Those teams that you see right now, that's not Oakland.
No.
And that's not the Los Angeles
Raiders.
That's a different animal right there. Them some real teams that tear you, especially Los Angeles. They was never bad when they was in Los Angeles. Oh, my God.
The Colts and the Saints. The Colts and the Saints are bye this week. So there's 50, 15 games. I don't know. I'll probably be 2-13. 2-12. Oh my!
Good luck.
No, this is brutal. I'm going to go to the Kevin. Flip the coin.
When you get a chance, you got all the weeks still.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know not the record, but how many weeks have we ever been over 500?
Not many.
I don't think. No. I don't remember if I got 2
over 500.
Yeah, over 5. Not at 500. Over.
None.
It could be just one game. And I'm thinking that might have happened once or twice.
No.
You get that? And if I did, I don't remember getting them.
No. No, we were 2-14. 1 week you were 2-14. I was 3-13.
Yeah.
We had weeks. We were not. I'll look this up, but I'll get it more. But no, there hasn't been many. We have had absolutely mind-numbing, brutal weeks.
Well, that I want to know.
And we haven't.
I got a little short. Then see if we got any that's over 500, and if we got any, how many did we have that's lower than 6 wins? I bet you we got. I'd like to see how many of that. That's
not
fun.
Many. It's been a brutal year.
Well, the other way, it's a lot. I bet under 6 wins. I bet you we got a lot of 5 and 9.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Saturday morning sports page. Everybody have a great, safe week. Do not drink and do not drive. Stay sober. Watch your college football and pro games this weekend. Have a good time, but stay safe. Enjoy your weekend. Saturday morning sports page back next week on Western Reserve Radio. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark.
The stations that always keep you in the zone.
I love it.
It's awesome.
Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast, Youngstown, Ohio.
The Sports Betting Network. It is week number 12 of the 2025 college football season. There are only 3 weekends remaining in the regular season, so we must appreciate each and every Saturday that much more. As we say hello and welcome to Live Bet Saturday, right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. I am Ben Stevens. Jared Smith will join us in just a matter of moments. He is hustling over to the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas. We will be with you for the entirety of this early window. We've got 10 games kicking off to begin week 12, at that 12 p.m. Eastern time, noon Eastern window. Those 10 games include 7 ranked teams in the second set of rankings in the top 25 from the College Football Playoff Selection Committee. One of our 4 ranked versus ranked top 25 tilts on this third to final Saturday of the college football regular season is about to begin as well. And that's where we start. In the Steel City, it's number 22 Pitt taking on number 9 Notre Dame, as the Panthers head coach Pat Narduzzi reminded everybody early this week, not a conference game between the Irish and the Panthers, but still incredibly significant for both clubs in their outlook toward a college football playoff berth. Of course, Notre Dame dropping its first 2 games of the season, losing by a total of 4 combined points. The Irish have won 7 in a row, and all 7 of those victories by double digits. An average margin of victory, to be exact, for the Fighting Irish in the 7 victories this year of 26.1 points per game. And we see it reflected in the number. This spread early in the week, 10.5 in favor of Marcus Freeman and his Irish. It is now 12.5. It has even hit 13.5 bright and early on this Saturday morning ahead of week number 12. Can Pitt, as the home underdog, play spoiler to the Irish's outlook for a college football playoff berth and make sure that they are well positioned should they win the ACC with their final 2 conference games and the final 2 weekends after this one lead them to a conference championship matchup? There is so much chaos in the ACC that we will break down throughout these 3 hours here on Live Bet Saturday.